जो से कटक पिला को पचार थिला कि इंटरव्यू पे कौन सा ना हाँ माइक से इपड़े वाईफाई टाइम पर पाकु तो तले ठीक है बेटा तो उड़े लिंक टे पठे चेक करो हमर फेसबुक ऑफिस रे करू
आज ठीक मोर फेसबुक नहीं मोर
कोन को जो
मोर पठे जगह उधर पर मान
से पानस उड़े के थोड़ो वाटर
मानस करे जाइछिन
कोन
मानस फोटो
कोन करिबन से
बेसिकली मानस असन ना नहीं मोर हसन जैसे
सब पड़े स्टार सब नहीं
तो किसी के बच्चों को जब मन पड़ो टाइम এটা বহু বড় দেখতে
इतने की रे पुस्तकामन तो जो वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग है नहीं कोई तो डाकी दी वीडियो देखि से जण आसवे पड़े
तर 100 टाका
संबंधी वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कोई नहीं अरे वीडियो रिकॉर्ड एमने फोटोग्राफर किछि कोई न तो मोर का डाकी दी मेठी बसले ओपन से हम कम इसे मन ये फेसबुक पे खोल ले मैडम फेसबुक पे खोल ले आईएचएस में लाइव आस्ट्रीम में देख ले मैडम लैपटॉप टा कोड़ी रखु तो भांगी जो से व्यस्त अछन ये अबे पाखे रखना अबे बसी तो एडे बसतो फेसबुक खोल अरे एडे बसतो चेट एडे बसी था हां एडे बस
टेक्निकल हेड
वो जणा दिसो जोड़े गले मनस को नहीं की जो काम हो जो नहीं अरे आहुरी के लोग से मौजूद है तो गैप छाड़ दे छो
ये एम्स स्टूडेंट से
सुना दे कहीं हमें तो स्टार्ट कर दिया ଆସିଲା ଫେସବୁକ୍ ଆସିଲା अरे इंस्टा भी कर दवा इंस्टा रो पासवर्ड हाँ मैडम इंस्टा का जो यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड भेजेंगे क्योंकि अभी फेसबुक लाइव हुआ है तो आप फेसबुक का चेक कर लीजिए उसका लिंक भेजिए तो हम शेयर करेंगे फेसबुक यूट्यूब पे हमने लिंक लाइव कर दिया वो दोनों लिंक भेजिए तो इंस्टा का पासवर्ड भेजिए यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड हाँ वो इसका जो है इंस्टा का मतलब फेसबुक में मैंने लाइव किया है उसका थोड़ा भेजेंगे आप वो लिंक फेसबुक यूट्यूब का मैं अमृता को तो बोला हूँ ठीक है दोनों भेजते तो देखते हैं वो शेयर करेंगे ना, वो खोल रहा है कि नहीं देखेंगे। चेक कीजिए तो, वो भी हम सारे ग्रुप में भेजेंगे तो। खुलती
यूट्यूब रे
ये जो खुली है
କି ଦେଖୁଥିବ ଗୋଟେ ଜଣ କି ମୁଁ ହିଁ ସେଇଟା ନା
ये मैं शेयर कर दवा तो ही जो ग्रुप रे शेयर कर दो ना तो ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ପକେଇ ମୁଁ ପକଉଛି ଯୋଉ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ ଲିଙ୍କଟା ପଠେଇଥିଲି ସେଇଟା ଆସୁଛି ନା ଦେଖିଲେ ଗୋଟେ ଲିଙ୍କ ପଠେଇଛି ସେଇଟା ଖୋଲନ୍ତୁ ନା ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଟା ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ପାଇଁ ହେଇଗଲା ଫେସବୁକରେ ହିଁ ପଠେଇଦେଲେ ଲେଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଏଇଟା ଫେସବୁକ ଏଇଟା ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ଲେଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଖୋଲ ଖୋଲ ଇନଷ୍ଟା डाउन सिंड्रोम या कुछ सिंड्रोम
ସେମାନେ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାବେଳେ କହୁଥିଲେ ମାଲଗୁଡ଼ି ଡେଜ୍ ମାଲଗୁଡ଼ି ଡେଜ୍ କ'ଣ
हाँ जी हेलो हाँ जी इंस्टा पे क्यों नहीं हो रहा है तो इंस्टा पे लाइव हुआ कि नहीं मैं कर रहा हूँ तो कुछ मांग रहा है कनेक्टिंग स्ट्रीमिंग सॉफ्टवेयर टू गो लाइव वो ऑन करके अपना फेसबुक यूट्यूब ऑन करके वहां पे लाइव कर रहा हूँ नहीं लैपटॉप पे वो सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं है वो डायरेक्ट तो फेसबुक ओपन किया उधर लाइव है लाइव सेटिंग करके किया या फिर यूट्यूब ओपन किया यूट्यूब पे लाइव लेकिन इंस्टा का नहीं हो रहा है ना वो इधर से नहीं होगा ना आप उधर से लॉगिन कर नहीं सकते क्या इंस्टाग्राम इधर से करने से क्या होगा, मतलब हम लोग कंप्यूटर में नहीं होगा ना। ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, देखते हैं। लाइव जा रहा है ना अभी यूट्यूब फेसबुक के दोनों पे। वही सारा एक नहीं, वो देखना पड़ेगा। ठीक है, ठीक है। ఇప్పుడు तारो ऊपर मार हाथ रे धरा होता रहो तारो गुड़े को तुम तारो गुड़े वाला नहीं हाँ? अरे इंस्टा रे नो नहीं तो सॉफ्टवेयर न होले न बने इंस्टा
ఇన్స్టాలో వెబ్ డౌన్లోడ్ వెబ్
हाँ
ఇన్స్టా వెబ్ చూడాలి
अच्छी है
ఇన్స్టా
नहीं डाउनलोड है कि नहीं येलो डोगुटा कौन हो जाता
ଭଲ ବକ୍ସ ଟାଣି ରଖିଥାନ୍ତି ଭଲ ବକ୍ସ ଟୁ ଟାଣି
अभी अभी इंस्टा चेक कीजिए तो लाइव है कि नहीं इंस्टा अभी चेक कीजिए थर्ड पार्टी सॉफ्टवेयर पे लॉगिन किया था हाँ जी, इंस्टा पे लाइव हुआ कि नहीं चेक कीजिए तो। चित्त नहीं रे, ये लगी दरकार नहीं। कौड़ा गला दूर बुटा क्या टिफिन अच्छे टिफिन के हम खाइए पड़ेगा कास्टा को तुम्हें कोई रिएक्शन ना जनरेटर ये ठीक है चलो करो हाँ कोड़ी अच्छा ऊपर है जे कोड़ी अच्छा ऊपर है असली जी এটা বন্ধ করে দিয়েছি মানুষ এসিটা বন্ধ করে দেব এসিটা বন্ধ করে দিই এটা তো এখানে লোক নাই এটা লগেই আমার কিছু লাভ আছে তো କିଛି ନାହିଁ ତ ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦେବା ଥଣ୍ଡା ପାଗଟା କଣ ଅଛି ଆମ ଗରମ ହେଇଯିବ ଆରେ ଆଗରେ ଲାଇଭ୍ ହଉଛି ଆରେ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍ରେ ଅଛି ହଁ ହେଲା ଖାଇବା ଗୋଟେ ମିଟିଂରେ ଅଛି
स्टॉक रखना खाली देला दियो ଆପଣ 8ଟା ଦେଇଥିଲି ପୁଣି ଅଛି ମନାସର କରି ନାହିଁ ରଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଖାଉ ଦେବେ ସେମାନେ କି ନେଲେ ରଖିଦେବେ କିଛି ମନେଇବେ
ସାମ୍ନାରୁ ପୁରା ଲାଷ୍ଟ ମୋ ଫଟୋ ଆସିବ କହିଥିଲା ଏ ଫଟୋ ଆସିବ ନା ଦେଖେଇବ ସେଠି ଦୀପ ଜଳାରେ ବି ଉଠେଇଦେବ ବାଗେଇ ଉଠେଇବ ଦୀପ ଜଳାରେ ଯିଏ ବାଇଶରେ କହୁଥିବ ତାର ବି ଭଲ ଫଟୋ ଉଠେଇଦେବ କେଉଁଠି ପଡ଼ିବ ଏଇଠି ଯିଏ କହିବ ତାର ବି ଭଲ ଫଟୋଟେ ବେଲର ସହିତ ଉଠେଇବ କ୍ଲୋଜ୍ ଉଠେଇବ ସତ୍ୟଶୀଳ କହିଲା ପରେ କ୍ଲୋଜ୍ ଉଠେଇବ ବେଲର ସହିତ ଉଠେଇବ ସବୁ ଉଠେଇବ ସି हो ହଁ ହଁ ଅଛି ଅଛି ହଁ ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ସେଇଟା ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଫୋନ୍ ଅଛି କାଲି ଯୋଉ ଫଟୋ ଉଠେଇଥିଲ ପଠେଇଲ ଟିକେ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପରେ ଦେଖିକିରି ବାଛି ବାଛି ସବୁ ଚେୟାରରେ ବସିବାଟା ଭାରି କଷ୍ଟ ଚେୟାର हमारे तांगों की पिला से तुम्हारा
गीता और लोग स्लो म्यूजिक बोल्ड ये सीट लेगी ना
अरे बस
ଖାଇନି ଅଛି ପସନ୍ଦ ଖାଇକି ମୁଁ ଯିବି
तुम कहीं खाई ना तो
ରଞ୍ଜନ
11 खाई 11
तड़ा से
ମୁଁ 11:30 ଖାଇଦେଲି ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଲି ମୋର କାମ ଅଛି 11:30 ଖାଇଦେଲି
ପିଲା ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ
ଆରେ ମୁଁ 11:30 ଖାଇଦେଲି
ରଞ୍ଜନ ଏଥିରୁ ପଳେଇଲି ମୁଁ 10 ମିନିଟ୍ ଖାଇକି ପଳେଇଲି
ଦଶ ମିନିଟ୍ ତଳେ ବସି ଖାଇଦଉନୁ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ ସାର୍ଙ୍କ ଯୋଉ ତଳ ରୁମ୍
ଖାଇଦେଲା ପରେ ଏମିତି ଆଉ
ସେଠି ଖାଇଦିଅ
सही
ତମେ ଆସିବ ବୋଲ ମିଟିଂ ଏତେବେଳୁ ଆସିବା କଥା ମାଡ଼ିକି
ମାରିନି।
ଆସିବ
गीता और लोग
40 ମିନିଟ୍ ହେଲା ଅନ୍ କରିଦେଇଛି ବିବେକ ସାର୍କୁ ଦେଖେଇଲା ଜ୍ୟୋତି ସାର୍ ସେଇ ଲୋକଟି ଯେବେ ଆମ ଇଏ କରୁଥିଲା
କିଛି ନାହିଁ ହଁ କାଗଜ ଉଠଉନି ଟେବୁଲ ବି ହାଲିଆ ପୁରା କାଗଜ ଖଣ୍ଡେ ଉଠେଇବନି କାଗଜ ଆଣିବନି ତ ଉଠିବା କଥା ପଚାରିଲା କାଗଜ
ସିଏ କଣ ମନେ ନ କରେ
କଣ ଭାବନ୍ତୁ
ସେ ଆରଟା ଥିଲା ଯେ କାମ ଆରଟା ଲାଗି ପଡୁଥିଲା ସେ ଶହେ ଟେବୁଲ ଆରଟା ଦେବସ୍ମିତା ମତେ ପରଦିନ କଲ୍ କରିଥିଲା
କଣ କହୁଛି
ସେମାନେ କୋଉଠି ବସିବେ रुद्र रुद्र को सेटा तो करो रुद्र को सेटा ऑन करके था माइक फाइक जा अछि रुद्र को ऑडियो माइक ऑन अछि ना हेलो कॉल पा जाएगी फोटो उठे तो तारा सेपटे ये जो कथा कहू जे फोटो उठे जाए ऑन अछि रुद्र को डाकिलो ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈ ಹಿಡಿದು ಇದೆಯೋ ನಾನು ಟಿವಿ ಮೈ ಹಿಡಿದು ಈ ಮೈ ಹಿಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮೈ ಹಿಡಿದು ಇದೆಯೋ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ ತभी ಸಿಬಿಲ್ ನಂದು ಇದೆ
हेलो
como check सेम डेटा को
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Subhasmita Sahu,
Ida to chalo
Assistant
seeda
Professor,
chalo
Department of Cardiovascular Medicine, welcome you all to the World Down Syndrome Day celebration for the year 2024. All India Institute of Medical Sciences and Autonomous Institute of Health Sciences Bhubaneswar have joined hands this year to raise awareness, promote inclusion and celebrate the diversity in abilities of individuals with Down syndrome. Our esteemed guests for today are Professor Dr. Manisha Rajnan Gaikwad. Professor Gaikwad is currently the head of the Department of Anatomy, AIIMS Bhubaneswar. Ma'am obtained her MS in Anatomy from Government Medical College, Nagpur University, Maharashtra. She has over 20 years of experience in anatomy and her areas of expertise include anatomy, cytogenesis, embryology. She was awarded with the International Medical Sciences Academy Fellowship in 2016 and has received multiple other national awards such as Dabiji Saman Award for her contributions to raising awareness on voluntary whole body donation. Ma'am has also served as the President of Anatomical Society of India. She has a number of national and international publications in her area of expertise. We welcome you, ma'am. Next, our esteemed guest is Professor Prabhas Ranjan Tripathi. Professor Tripathi is currently a professor in anatomy at AIIMS Bhubaneswar. Sir obtained his MD degree in anatomy from BSS Medical College, Gurgaon, Sambalpur University. Professor Tripathi has over 15 years of experience in anatomy, medical genetics, and medical education. He is a life member of Anatomical Society of India, Society of Clinical Anatomy, and Indian Academy of Medical Genetics. Sir has a number of national and international publications in his area of expertise. We welcome you, sir. Next, our esteemed guest is Professor Satya Mahapatra. Professor Mahapatra is the founder and director of Institute of Health Sciences, the only autonomous college in India for manpower development in rehabilitation sciences like physiotherapy, audiology, and speech language pathology, special education, and rehabilitation sciences. The Model Center for Children with Special Needs at the School for Autism are the brainchild of Professor Mahapatra. The Model Center delivers multimodal therapy for children affected by birth defects, neurodevelopmental disorders like autism, and genetic disorders like Down syndrome. The School for Autism provides critical input to develop age-appropriate functional skills for autistic children. Sir is a researcher, innovator, and advocate for individuals with disabilities. He regularly conducts public education programs online through the channel Satya Speaks. We welcome you, sir. Next, our guest is Dr. Ramya Maitri. Dr. Maitri is an associate professor in speech language pathology at
दो
her
यूज कर रहे हैं।
PhD in Human Communication Sciences from the University of Sheffield, United Kingdom. She is the first woman researcher from Odisha to pursue PhD and postdoctoral work in language processing in the United Kingdom. In 2019, Dr. Whiteley was granted the Lucid Travel Award to work in research projects at UCL, London, and has won funding multiple times for organizing seminars and presenting her work at scientific conferences. Dr. Whiteley has nearly 14 years of experience working in the field of rehabilitation sciences. Her work on language processing has been published in national and international journals. She conducts and aspires to continue research on understudied Indian language such as Odia. We welcome you, ma'am. Now I would like to request all our esteemed guests to come up and look at that. And I would like to request our program director, Institute of Health Sciences, Ms. Marini Mohanty ma'am, to present a bouquet and welcome our esteemed guests. Request the volunteers.
ତମେ ଜଣେ ଛିଡ଼ା ହେଇଥିବ ଏଠି, ତାକୁ ବସି ଚୌକାଠ ପାଖରେ ଛିଡ଼ା ହେଇଥିବ। ଜାକି ରଖ ଡାଇସ୍ ଉପରକୁ ଦିଟା ନା ଡାଇସ୍ ଉପରେ ଦିଟା ଅନ୍ କରି ଥୋଇଦ, ଡାଇସ୍ ଦିଟା ଅନ୍ କରି ଥୋଇଦ। ଡାଇସ୍ ମାନେ ସେଇ ଯୋଉଠି ବସିଛନ୍ତି ଗେଷ୍ଟ ସେଠି ଦିଟା ଥୋଇଦ।
Now, I extend a warm welcome to our all resource persons, Dr. Sitra Raut, Associate Professor in the Department of Anatomy and Medicine. Dr. Praveen Kumar Rao, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy and Medicine. Dr. Abhilaj Narayan, Assistant Professor, Dr. Sanjukta Sahu, Associate Professor, Department of Anatomy and Medicine.
माइक नहीं है। टेढ़ी नहीं। अरे टी साइड लाख देखा जाऊनी।
World Down Syndrome Day has been observed by the United Nations since 2012. We celebrate this day to educate people on what Down syndrome is
अरे तुम आरपट मॉनिटरटा खोलिଛ कि नहीं? कोड़ी खोलिଛ आरपट मॉनिटरटा? जाइए देखो टे खोलो। तुम कहले गेट रे छेड़ा वो बाहर जा जिनसड़ा जानो भीतर बोले कौन जानो?
कि माइक जो है ना इसके साथ में सेम लाइन में आ रहा है।
कौन सा वाला?
कोई सा भी माइक ऑन है और सेम लाइन में आ रहा है तो ये एक्सटर्नल सिग्नल पकड़ेगा।
Nearly 30,000 or to 35,000 children born in India are said to be affected by Down syndrome. And as healthcare professionals, we are all aware of the multiple challenges that individuals with Down syndrome face in their everyday
नहीं
life.
होगा,
So let us
नहीं
all
होगा, लाइव नहीं होगा।
the end of the ceremony.
इंस्टाग्राम ऐसा कोई सिस्टम नहीं है कि आप हम लाइव कर दें।
हमारा इंस्टाग्राम लॉगिन है मुझे देखने से नहीं लोग गोटे दुटा लागी लागी रहले से आसुनी।
अरे तुम देखियो नहीं तुम केते बोले कहीं छिड़ा है ताले तुम देखो ना बाहर रही गिर भीतर बोले जाने परिबो।
अरे मुझे देखना है क्या कहते हैं ये जो है इंस्टाग्राम पे कितने लोगों ने पोस्ट करा है मुझे देखना है। टैग कर रहे हैं ताकि सीधा है।
कौन सा?
नहीं टैग कर रहे हैं क्या हमें? मैंने स्टूडेंट्स को बोला
खुला हुआ है।
नोटिफिकेशन आ जाएगा।
There will also be short quiz session. I hope you find the event to be informative, meaningful, and enjoyable.
नहीं
So, without any further delay, I would now like to invite Professor Dr. Manisha Rajnan Gaikwad,
नहीं गया।
Head of the Department of Anatomy in Bhubaneswar.
अभी भी उसका मतलब बताइए क्या चल रहा है?
अरे भेजा हुआ है ग्रुप से 1 घंटा पहले एकेडमिक में।
लिंक चाहिए मुझे उसका।
हाँ लिंक है।
Good afternoon to one and all present over here.
साला
At the outset,
दो
I
माइक
would
यूज
like
कर
to
रहे तो
thank
पोडियम में क्या होगा?
Professor Dr.
अरे ये लोग
Ashutosh
आदमी है या
Prasad, our
कुछ है पता
Executive
नहीं, इनको
Director,
समझ में नहीं आ रहा।
AIIMS Bhubaneswar,
सुबह
for
सुबह
his
मैडम को
full
समझ में
support
नहीं आ रहा इतना दिन होस्टिंग करने
in
के बाद।
conducting
अरे एक
this
तो यूज करो।
outreach program at Institute of Health Sciences, Bhubaneswar. Thus, I welcome respected Director of Institute of Health Sciences, Professor Satyam Mahapatra, Sir, Principal Dr. Bhavani Shankar Pardee, Sir, Dean Academics Dr. Ramya, and the various faculties, senior colleagues, dear delegates who are bringing with enthusiasm, and the dear students from AIIMS Bhubaneswar as well as IHS Bhubaneswar. I welcome you all on behalf of the Department of Anatomy, AIIMS Bhubaneswar, for the Down syndrome awareness outreach program which we are conducting over here today. Today being the World Down Syndrome Day, which is celebrated from the year 2012 with the recommendations of the United Nations General Assembly to raise awareness of Down syndrome. This day signifies the uniqueness of replication, that is trisomy of 21st chromosome, which causes Down syndrome. It also emphasizes on providing equal opportunities to all the people with the Down syndrome to live fulfilling lives in all societal aspects and empower them so that no one is left behind. Thus, ultimately fulfilling the 2030 UN Agenda for Sustainable Developmental Goals. This being the World Down Syndrome Day, we take the opportunity to raise awareness on the other common genetic disorders as well. For this, the Department of Anatomy and the Institute of Health Sciences have joined hands to conduct this academic feast for you all. We at the Department of Anatomy are providing genetic services in the form of counseling at the perinatal clinic, and have also started the cardiotherapy in our cytogenetic lab for the last 2 years. Now, providing the genetic services is a real challenge, but slowly it will expand our horizon by adding other types of services. For this, we also take the help of other departments at AIIMS, like the obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, as well as neonatology. As you all here are providing customized daycare services and catering to the needs of children, especially able children, under the able guidance of Professor Dr. Satyam Mahapatra, these deliberations of today's CME will be helpful in both ways so as to popularize the need of genetic services in the community. Hope you all enjoy the scientific feast with talks by eminent guests from the field of cytogenetics and other specialties. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to request Professor Satyam Mahapatra, founder director, Autonomous Institute of Health Sciences, to say a few words.
कोड पड़ेगा मानस ये रे उठा रे तब एडजस्ट करो आरोटा मानस आउट माइक नहीं आउट माइक थो आउट तो सार को देखो माइक टा देखो सर मानस
Sorry for the inconvenience. Technical glitches are always there. I am really happy, very excited on this day that two important institutions have come together to deliberate on the very sensitive topic, which normally is considered kind of a hopeless situation. Well, when brainstorming happens by great people, technology solutions evolve. Medical research is so vital, and who can be better known for medical research than AIIMS? I'm really grateful to Professor Tripathi and Madam Professor Gaikwad and all the resource persons of AIIMS and the future of the medical service in the country, in the world, you people, that you thought it proper to join hands for with the organizations like AIIMS, where medical rehabilitation is the primary focus. So when we bring together into a cohesive team, people with a very kind of expertise or domain specific expertise, the outcome is a wonderful solution. There is hope in the most hopeless conditions. I'm really happy and excited that this beginning of AIIMS and AIIMS coming together should really turn out to be a turning point in disability rehabilitation or medical rehabilitation of disability in Odisha and maybe in the country. So there is very little time. We have so many great ways to deliberate, share their expertise. I welcome all of you. I'll be a keen listener and learner from all of you. Welcome you all.
Thank you, sir. Now, I invite Dr. Ramya to share a few words.
Respected leaders on dais and television audience. Okay, don't know what to say much, but I will just tell you one little thing. An experience. One of the first kids that I saw with Down syndrome was in 11-month-old kid. And I did therapy, speech and language therapy sessions for her for 3 years. And then I moved on and she was one of the different therapists. The next time I saw her was at the age of 11. And her mother and remembered, and she told me that, remembered me very well, and she told me that now she was doing very well in her academics. She has also won some government scholarships, and she was actually excelling in her life. Now, why am I really telling you this story? What the things I learned from this mother and child was the resilience that they had shown, and the perseverance and the resilience they had shown, and all the little successes they had celebrated, which had actually made the child to succeed in her life. But this is only one case in Down syndrome which I see has succeeded so well. There are many who still remain just confined to their courses. We still need to do a lot we still need to do a lot to make the society inclusive. And I hope after today's event, hopefully AIIMS Bhubaneswar and AIIMS Bhubaneswar can collaborate and work towards creating a very inclusive society for children with Down syndrome, creating a model or framework for creating the most inclusive society for children with Down syndrome in Odisha, and hopefully which can be implemented in India and worldwide. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. Bhubaneswar Tripathi, Professor in the Department of Anatomy and Bhubaneswar, to share the words.
Thank you, madam. So, very good afternoon, all. So, in this program, Down Syndrome Day, we have been as director of this institute, the Autonomous Institute of Health Sciences, Dr. Satyam Batra, who I know learned more than a decade. And we are lucky that we got such platform to spread the awareness. Anatomy, where we conduct the tests. Dr. Manisha Gaikwad, Professor Dr. Manisha Gaikwad is always supporting for this type of programs. So she also could find some time. And Dr. Lamia just informed me was dean of this. And all the audience and the resources that is from years plus another year of and other students. So last year this Down syndrome day we celebrated in our AIIMS by conducting a rally, student rally, students, and raise the awareness in the hospital premise itself in the OPD fire. So this time the idea was to do it as an outreach activity, because sometimes we should go out. In that case, AIIMS is the best center in providing all sorts of therapies, special needs, all of you know, because you are all providing. So, because I get to have a program outside so that we know each other. Because these genetic disorders are always challenging. Whether identifying a genetic disorder. Today's discussion will be on approach to basic genetic disorder, identifying them again on time, diagnosing. Because for every genetic test we have to go to outside, whether it is city of Hyderabad or ACJ, Lucknow or Delhi or some other centers. And after diagnosing, again convincing the parents that yes, this is the again challenges to maintain. So with this background, establishing a diagnostic center in same state is also a challenge, because I have come across all medical colleges. Everywhere they start the scientific and academic for 5-6 months, then they stop. Because it is always to find technicians who is dedicated for this work. Again equipments, again consumables, everything. So in AIIMS we have started the services 3 years before, almost more than 400 samples have been processed. We are fortunate to join our hands with institute like this, where we should understand each other. So patients and students and their parents are coming here on daily basis, and also with us our MBA students are there who are imparting our medical genetics training and so they will also take some lessons from here, and I hope we will have a very good academic sessions and we will all enjoy this. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Dr. Ravikant Narayan to take over for the felicitation ceremony.
मनस ऊपर उठे जे मनस ऊपर उठ
I would like to request Dr. Sir to kindly felicitate Professor Satya Mahapatra sir.
आगो पड़ा पप्पू अगर मिडिल आगो पड़े उठे जे मनस मन माइक रखित सत्य सर माइक दे सत्य सर कथा कही पारते माइक कम कर दी
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Professor Satya Mahapatra sir to kindly felicitate Julie ma'am for this. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to request the students to kindly take their seats so we can go on with the talks.
मनस अरे मैडम मोर तो उड़ी गला मनस सीधा टेकी दियो सीधा टेक सुबिवनी से माइक्रो मुहटा को सीधा मुह को बुले दियो आउथरे ना सुबिवनी ताको मुह को दियो पूरा बुले गिरी सुबिवनी
Hello everyone, so now we'll start with the scientific talks. So the first talk.
बंद कर ले
For the first talk, I would like to invite Dr. Sitra Rao, Associate Professor in the Department of Anatomy, AIIMS, Bhubaneswar, over to the dais. Ma'am will be talking to us on approach to genetic disorders. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon to all and all present here once again. So I take this opportunity to discuss a very important topic today, which is not only meaningful, also relevant in context of today's discussion, today's celebration. So I'll walk you through the approaches of the genetic disorder, like the sequence approach we take to identify the genetic disorder, and also the types of genetic disorders. So the genetic abnormalities can be defined as a whole or a part of the change in the sequence of the gene away from its normal sequence. And it can be inherited or it can be acquired. It can be inherited from one parent or both the parents, or from any, or it can be acquired at any point of time. Broadly, the genetic disorders can be classified as chromosomal disorders, where there is a gross abnormality either in the numerical or structural component of the chromosomes. The single gene disorder consists of a change in the sequence, that is the mutation to something happening in the sequence of a gene, so that will result in single gene disorder. The mitochondrial disorder comprises of any abnormality in the genome of mitochondria, and the complex or multifactorial disorders. It causes not only by the genetic component, also the epigenetic regulators which control the various transcription or this translation processes. So these are the four types of genetic disorders. So what takes the patient to the clinic? So all the genetic disorders usually present into the clinic. In the pediatrics includes
चारियाडे उठे दिए तो
urinary or the child.
चारिपट उठे दिए से मझरू छड़ाई थे उठे देवले पूरा फुल फ्रेम रे भलो रे आसी
Malformations or intellectual disability or disorders in the sexual development, metabolism, or some mental retardation or unexplained developmental disorders during pediatric age. And during pregnancy, usually a woman present with recurrent miscarriages or unexplained fetal disorder. So these are the things which happen, and there arose a suspicion of genetic etiology. And in other, also the patients can present like some malignancies like breast cancer or colon cancer, which are women who have a genetic etiology like hereditary colon cancers and breast cancer. So they also have a genetic etiology. All these genetic disorders can be identified by means of a set of cytogenetic tests or molecular genetic tests. The cytogenetic test, they comprises of one of the very preliminary conventional tests called as karyotyping, which is a cost effective and that identifies the gross abnormalities in the chromosomes. The fish, otherwise called as the fluorescent in situ hybridization, that uses the fluorescent probes to identify a specific loci, where the mutation is there. And there is a related advanced technique called as the cytogenetic microarray, which at the same time going to identify multiple genes at the same time, like hundreds and thousands of the genes. Any abnormalities in those can be identified by means of this relatively newer technique, that is the cytogenetic microarray. The molecular genetics techniques comprises of PCR, polymerase chain reactions, the MLPA techniques, and various types of DNA sequencing, which comprises of whole genome sequencing or whole exome sequencing. So, which are helpful in identifying precisely. So, all these details of the molecular genetics are going to be taken in the subsequent part of this. The chromosomal disorders, which usually are identified by means of karyotyping, where the numerical or the structural abnormalities can be grossly picked up. The single gene disorders and the mitochondrial disorders, they can be picked up by some kind of sequencing technique like the next generation sequencing techniques. The complex disorders or the multifactorial, they require a combination of this chromosomal as well as the molecular techniques to be identified. So how a genetic disorder is approached? So there are four basic steps are there. First is the identification of the symptoms and the family history. Second is the genetic testing and analysis. Third is genetic counseling and informed consent. And fourth is diagnosis and treatment of the genetic cause once it is definitely diagnosed. So step one, where if we go for identification of the symptoms and family history, so it begins by documenting a very detailed medical history of the patient and including the hereditary conditions if or present any symptoms which run through the lineage. So we pay a very close attention to all these patterns which usually are present in the hereditary in their heredity, and also inquire about any genetic disorders which are usually present, and that will help in identifying the potential genetic applications further. The second step comprises of genetic testing and analysis, where we go for once a probable test is probable diagnosis is made, genetic test is applied which analyze the DNA samples to identify the potential genetic mutations if any is present, and that will help in the again streamlining the management of the patient. Step 3 comprises of genetic counseling, providing for which the genetic counselor provides the emotional support, clarifying all the queries the patient had regarding the genetic disorder, and also it gives information to the individuals and the family which are affected in terms of the test which has to be taken and what are the risks in the further generations. The fourth step is diagnosis and treatment options, where the diagnosis will be made by taking into account medical evaluation and the genetic testing and analysis reports. And the treatment options, they comprises of both medical therapy or any specialized interventions like rehabilitation. So the genetic counselor and the healthcare persons, they both are going to play a very crucial role in managing the patient throughout the entire course. So now if you will just see an example of to approach a child with like dysmorphism or congenital malformation. So how we are going to approach, because that is the one which is most commonly with what we encounter during the clinics. So before that, just to know what is the congenital malformation. So congenital malformation are the abnormalities, they are group of birth defects which occur during the course of development. Either it can occur in utero, where it is called as malformation, and malformation is when actually the normal development is hampered and it will present as some abnormality, like a structural defect. Disruptions, dysplasia, these are some cellular disorganizations which usually affect and that is mostly having a genetic cause. So here we will go through the again to decipher dysmorphic is. First, we will have a suspicion of the genetic etiology of that condition. Second, we will evaluate clinically the case and then go for investigations followed by analysis and diagnosis and confirmation after taking both all these parameters followed by interventions and finally surveillance and follow-up will continue. So what arose the suspicion of genetic etiology is, so if the patient is presenting with a congenital anomaly, so we'll see the congenital anomaly if there is a major anomaly, at least one major anomaly or more than two minor anomalies. Like major anomalies are retarded which are not compatible with life, which are like interfering with the normal functioning of the body. Minor is like some structural defects like simian planes and all. Major is like neurological defects or cardiac defects which are happening in the normal life. So that is the major and minor. Then they have some growth deficit like short stature or failure to thrive, or they have a developmental delay, intellectual disability, or a developmental regression, or if they have a failure to develop the secondary sexual characters or abnormal genitalia. So all these conditions can arouse a genetic etiology. After taking having that, we'll go for a detailed history. So that history comprises of prenatal history, where we'll ask the mother of having any teratogenic exposure or any prenatal complication, whatever details, and then the perinatal history of the complications during delivery and how the child reacts. It usually is recorded as adverse scoring, and then birth weight and circumference body proportions. So all these parameters during delivery which would have been taken, so that will be taken into account. Then within the neonatal course, how the neonate grew through that feeding habits, the activities, and in postnatal age group, like how the physical growth took place and the milestones, whether it is achieved normally or not, and any kind of or abnormal symptoms if the child is showing, then that can be recorded. Followed by a family history. So family history will be usually put together in form of a very detailed chart called as the pedigree chart, where the case will be called as a proband or the index case. And along with that, actually other, so at least 3 generations of the pedigree chart will be put, so that we will have an idea that in which generation or the pattern or any repetition of the pattern can be picked up. So after the history, we'll go for physical examination of this dysmorphic child, where these are the, so in the physical examination, we'll see the anthropometric measurements like height and length of this width and weight, head circumference. So these are the details which I am just telling. So detailed anthropometric measurements to be taken, followed by the assessment of proportion or the symmetry, like upper body part segment, lower body segment, the arm span, the leg span. So all these detailed proportion and symmetry will be taken, followed by head to toe assessment, very detailed, like the cranium size, the shape, whether microcephaly or macrocephaly is detailing of the nose and the facial features, and everything will be taken in detail. Then the systemic assessment, which is going to investigate that the systemic disorder like cardiovascular disorder or respiratory, so all these disorders will be documented. Now, along with that, this radiographs and imaging techniques are also offered because that will have additional help in the analysis of this diagnosis. So radiographs will be taken for the wrist hand to determine the exact bone age assessment, the different views of the skull, the pelvis, leg, and upper limb will be taken for the radiograph, and then imaging, the neuroimaging, MRI and CT will be done to see if there is any neurological deficit is there, and ultrasound ultrasonography of the abdomen, 2D echo of the heart will be done to see if there is any visceral abnormalities which is present. So these are the additional things you are going to see for a dysmorphic child. Now taking into account all this clinical history which we have taken, along with the laboratory parameters, we are going to make a probable diagnosis. And if the probable diagnosis is not made or it is not present in the system or it's like suspected, we can take help of various databases which is present. So like Omni, Boston and London dysmorphology databases, in which if you just put, you can get a diagnosis, and based on the diagnosis, we can proceed to the genetic testing. Now, genetic testing, which genetic testing we are going to offer is, because we have all these congenital malformations, growth retardation, as I told, most of this will first go for the conventional testing, that is the karyotyping. Because karyotyping is cost effective and that will give a first preliminary idea about the genetic makeup of the patient. So, karyotyping, and if the phenotype of the patient is suggestive of some specific microdeletion which cannot be picked up by this karyotyping, then we can go for specific probe against that patient and we'll see that one through the FISH technique. Then any genetic test is not complete without including the biochemical parameters. So metabolic testing, so this relevant biochemical parameters we are going to add, and that will also help in adding up to the diagnosis. Then if you are suspecting that that dysmorphic feature is due to a single gene mutation, then we can go for DNA-based molecular techniques. Any of the DNA-based molecular techniques we can do. If we are suspecting of a copy number variation which cannot be picked up again by the conventional cytogenetics method, then we can go for the cytogenetic microarray, which has a capability of picking up 100 to 1000 DNA sequences at the same time. Then finally, if there is a multiple gene involvement and also large gene sequences we want to know, then we can go for next generation sequencing, which is the advanced form of the molecular technique. So finally, after making the, so this will get us a definitive diagnosis. So once the definitive diagnosis is made, the patient will be undergone the medical therapy. So whatever medical treatment needed or surgical corrections of this dysmorphic features is needed, or genetic counseling will also go simultaneously. And wherever it is required to prevent any future generation being affected by the same genetic disorder, so relevant perimeter diagnosis will be advised to the next to the woman having planning for the next pregnancies. So these are the modalities for the intervention, and genetic counseling for rare dysmorphic child disease will be given in terms of that if it is a deformation or disruption, we can say that it carries a very low risk of recurrences, but it occurs because of some insult and it is persisting in the next pregnancy, then it might occur. But as such, the deformations are not going to be seen in the next pregnancy. That has a low risk. And if it is a de novo chromosomal abnormality or microdeletion, then that have a risk of recurrence in the next pregnancy at less than 1%. So if it is a single gene disorder, then the risk will vary depending on the exact diagnosis. You can tell the patient that what are the probable risk in the next pregnancy. And if it is a autosomal dominant part of pattern of inheritance disease, then there is a 50% chance that the sibling is going to be affected in any generation. And if it is inherited as a de novo, then the chance increases in further generations. And if it is a autosomal recessive, then there is a 25% chance that the next generation sibling is going to be affected. And if it is X-linked, specifically 50% chance that the males are going to be affected. So these are the things which are going to tell the genetic during the genetic counseling. So prenatal diagnosis For that, for a dysmorphic child, after a definitive diagnosis of this child, can give targeted nutritional analysis and chromosomal analysis, metabolic testing, which can be done in the subsequent pregnancies. Also, fetal anomaly scan can be done in the current pregnancy or the ongoing pregnancy to see any malformations to confirm, and 3D and 4D USG for better regulation of the facial profile can be done, and fetal echo can be done to detect any cardiac abnormalities. Follow-up finally can be done by assessing the growth and development of the current pregnancy or after the baby is born, and to study also we can study the growth of the disease because all diseases that behave very differently in each case. And also will monitor the any anticipated or associated complications if they are going to occur in the course of that disease, and also offer newly available therapeutic tests so that a better management can be done, and any diagnostic tests also, any upcoming diagnostic tests can be told, and sometimes phenotype evolves with age. So reassessment also can be done during the follow-up period. And also the family can be discussed with reproductive tests in the subsequent pregnancies. So the genes are the genes store the lungs, and lifestyle is going to put the trigger. But better awareness and a timely genetic testing and appropriate counseling, all this burden of the genetic disorders can be brought down. So with this, I will end my talk. Thank you.
दे माइक दे याकर उठी दे छिड़ाई चलता ऑडियंस को ने माइक ऑडियंस रखे ना याकर जे
Thank you, Madam, for such an insightful talk for
एबे जे कोई
providing an overview on the techniques and dynamics in genetic testing and detailed explanation about the approach that we need to take for genetic disorders. I'm sure this is going to be very helpful for all those who are going to become geneticians and for rehabilitation professionals like us to better understand what roles do geneticians play in the diagnosis of individuals with Down syndrome. We'll now move on to our next talk.
ভিডিও রেকর্ড দেব পরে मानस को डाकिलो मानस को डाक से आसुनथला ऑलरेडी अच्छी
एक्सटेंडेड মানে ডিসপ্লেটা আমার ডুপ্লিকেট সেটা এক্সটেন্ড করি
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's a privilege to be with you all on the Down Syndrome Day. So it's an important day in the field of genetics and beyond. So myself, Dr. Ravikumar, I'm here to share the insight on chromosomal disorders. So here we will see, starting from the basic, what is chromosome, to what are the chromosomal abnormalities, various abnormalities are there, and along with the few major examples, what we usually see. So let us say, so what is chromosome and where it is present in our body? Yes, what is chromosome and where it is present in our body? Okay. So if you take any nucleated cell in our body, so starting from the nerve cell, the PPC, or even the fat storing adipose cells, tissues, here almost all these cells will be having a feature like a cell membrane, cell organelle, and nucleus. So within the nucleus, will be having the chromosome. So here, these chromosomes are nothing but a kind of instruction manual based on which our body will be developing and functioning. So these chromosomes decides what is the nature of our body, starting from whether it is human or animal. From that, then if human, what is our gender? Then what will be the height, our hair color, everything will be decided based on the gene. So these genes are classified and arranged according to their size as per the rigorous classification. So here you can able to see it is group A, B, C like that. So based on their size and the location of the centromere into the metacentric, submeta, and the acrocentric. So this is the karyotype of male characteristics of the total number of chromosomes, and XY represents the gender. Okay, so here this is of male karyotype. And this is known as ideogram, which is like a kind of barcode-like pattern, which is used to identify the chromosome number when we are doing the karyotype. So coming to the topic of today. So the chromosome abnormality, otherwise known as chromosome aberration. So this is a disorder in which either the structural or numerical abnormality of the single or multiple chromosome will be involved. Either it may be involved in the chromosome component or the sex chromosome. Sometimes it may be of both. And most of the chromosomal abnormality will be of unbalanced nature and will be made for miscarriage, usually in the first trimester of the pregnancy. And few partially balanced chromosomal abnormality will sustain up to the birth. So it will be present contributing up to 1 to 2% of the total lives. So if you see the classification, so the broad category of the classification is the numerical and structural abnormality. So numerical abnormality includes there is a change in variation in the number. Instead of 46, it may be addition or deletion of whole complete chromosome itself. So that includes this numerical abnormality. In the structural, then the chromosome number will be a normal one. In addition to that, there may be a segment of chromosome which may be amplified or deleted, or even it may be flipped or inserted into the chromosome itself. So this is the structural abnormality. We'll see one by one. So in the numerical abnormality, there is a broad classification: euploidy and aneuploidy. In the aneuploidy, here this haploid set of chromosome will be maintained here. Like example, the 46, that is the multiplication of 2 years, that is 23 pass. Okay, so those things will be maintained. It may be either increase or decrease. So if it is decreased than the 46, then it is a hypoploid. So it may be missing of 1 chromosome or 2. If it is a missing of any 1 chromosome, then it is known as monosomy. So what is the common example of monosomy? Turner. Okay, so Turner is 45x0. Here the X chromosome is missing. So usually the clinical picture will be presented with the short stature, a female with a short stature, red leg, and usually presented with the infertility due to ovarian dysgenesis. Coming to the next, it is the monosomy. Here the complete 2 chromosomes will be missing, a complete pair will be missing. So it is not a balanced one, so not compatible with the life. So usually it will be miscarriage in the first trimester, so we may not be able to see that. And coming to the trisomy, can you give some example of trisomy? Yes, what's today? Down syndrome. So it's a trisomy 31. Okay, so most of the chromosomal disorder what we are seeing will be mostly in the trisomy. So starting from the Down syndrome is 47XY or XX plus additional 21st chromosome. Okay, so there are 3 autosomal trisomy is possible. So that is trisomy 21 Down syndrome. In the subsequent presentation, we will be dealt with the features of Down syndrome in detail. Okay. So the next one is the Edward. So this is the trisomy of 18th chromosome. Usually the child will be presented with the mental retardation, lucid ears, and the cardiac anomalies, and the renal malformation include horseshoe-shaped kidney and the proper food. Then the next usual trisomy is the trisomy 13 Patavu. Usually presents with the cardiac defect. Again with the proper and the polydactyl. So far we have seen the autosomal component. So here the sex chromosome component. There is an additional X chromosome present in the male. So this is Klinefelter syndrome. So usually presented with the gynecomastia and small testes and the very long lower segment that is the leg. Then with the additional X chromosome in female, it is a triplex syndrome for female. Again, even that tetrasomy is also available, is seen documented in the X chromosome. So these are the aneuploids. Then coming to the euploids. So that is the here the haploid is the same haploid or diploid will be maintained. There is a multiplication of 23. Okay, so in the 23, so then what will be the here the gametes of it will be there. So here the life is not possible. So it will be usually discouraged in the monoploid. Diploid is the one which is the normal karyotype. And coming to the polyploid, which will be a multiplication of 23 again, which is not compatible to the life. Moving to the structural abnormalities. So structural abnormalities includes the segment of the chromosome involved, which includes the deletion, inversion, ring chromosome. Let's see one by one. Before going, I just want you to understand this component to understand further. So if you see a structure of chromosome, there will be a centromere and one short arm and one long arm. Short arm is otherwise known as P arm or head, and long arm is otherwise known as Q arm or Q. Within this, again, it is subdivided into the seventh region 1, 2, 3. So if we want to specify the region of location of gene within this segment 2, again which is subdivided into 1, 2. Within that again there are subdivisions. So for example, if you want to specify this location of the chromosome, it will be of chromosome number 3, short term P, and within the locate 2, in subdivision to 5 point. So like this. So if you understand this, we can see the what are the variation happening in the structural abnormality of the chromosome. So starting from the first one, within a chromosome there is a single break. So that leads to deletion of that particular segment of the chromosome. Okay, so after the break, this segment of the chromosome is lost. So this is known as terminal deletion. So there are several places where it can happen. Usually in the long arm of chromosome 2, this will be documented. Okay, so based on these structural abnormality, based on the amount of database which is lost, the features will be manifesting according to that. Okay, so there is no fixed feature here. Then coming to the next type, that is the 2 break in a chromosome, so which will flip and insert to the same chromosome. It may be within the either short arm or long arm, or it may be around centromere also. So that is known as paracentric and pericentric. So usually this will be happening in the chromosome number 14 and 9. Then again, this is within the single chromosome there are 2 terminal deletions happening, and these 2 end become sticky and it will stick together to form a ring chromosome. Usually it will be happening in the X chromosome, and in the subsequent presentation you can see the presentation of this in our experience also. Then coming to the next within a chromosome, again the 2 breakage and the middle part is missing and the remaining 2 will be stick together. So that is the interstitial deletion. Usually seen in the chromosome number 5. Then the Robertsonian translocation. So what is happening here? The two similar to the terminal deletion, two segments is cut from each chromosome and which will be replaced here. So this is called reciprocal translocation. So usually seen in the chromosome 9 and 22, which is the Philadelphia chromosome linked with the CML, chronic myeloid. Then the next one is the Robertsonian translocation. Here usually this will be taking place in the apocentric chromosome. Two short arm will be damaged and the two long arm will be usually combined within a single chromosome. So it's a kind of a translocation also we can say. And these two short arm will be usually missed. Okay, so in the parents usually it may not be affected. When it is their offspring will be affected with this Robertsonian translocation. So this will be happening in all the apocentric. The last is the insertion. So some part of the interstitial deletion, what is happening? This is getting inserted into the some other chromosome. Usually this will be also balanced since there is no genetic material lost here. So this is the overview about the chromosome abnormality. For the completion, so we will see about the dominant and recessive pattern. You must have heard these things already. So, for example, if both the parent are tall, we can imagine capital T represents tall and small t represents short, and capital T is the dominant here, small t is the recessive. So, if you see the property of the offspring pattern, so there is a chance of two small t, so which leads to shorter offspring. So, the same way you can be able to correlate this image also. There is a property of getting blue iris if both the parents are having brown iris. So the same way, if the pattern is dominant, then even one chromosome is enough to create that abnormality in the offspring. If it is a recessive type of disorder, both the chromosomes should be there to create the abnormalities. So based on the mode of inheritance, the chromosomal disorder is divided again autosomal and sex-linked based on the chromosome involved. And again, within the autosomal, they are having the recessive and dominant. The example of autosomal recessive, usually the cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, and the autosomal dominant, here the achondroplasia or Marfan syndrome. Okay, so usually the recessive will be of this enzyme deficiency kind of, and this will be dominant will be of structure. Then X-linked recessive is a color blindness and hemophilia A for the example. And dominant vitamin D deficiency rickets Fragile syndrome. And the Y-linked will be Y-linked infertility, hypertrichosis of the ear. So this, as the Y chromosome is present only in male, so this will be transferred from the father to son. So this is about the overview of the chromosomal abnormality. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing such a simplistic overview of the different chromosomal disorders. And thank you for refreshing our knowledge on chromosomal disorders, which we often also get to see, which we sometimes, not often, sometimes get to see as teacher language surgeries, such as the Turner syndrome and thank you, sir. Now we'll move on to the next presentation. So our next talk is on Down syndrome. I now request Dr. Ravikant Narayan, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, AIIMS Bhubaneswar.
Good afternoon to all. So, when the topic was given to me that you are going to speak on Down syndrome, it was like a memory, a haunting memory from my internship. Okay, because I still remember there was a case, a different case, not Down syndrome case, and that baby came in, and suddenly my professor started asking questions. Okay, so I thought I would prepare this presentation in same manner that I will ask questions so that I'm having students as my audience. Okay, so what happens? You are in an OPD and you get a patient, cute looking patients come to you, smiling. The professor sees and asks, okay, what? So many words. So I have summarized these words in 4 words and how. Okay. So the first question that is being asked to you with the Down syndrome baby comes to your kid. What is Down syndrome and what are its features? Anybody, what is Down syndrome? Simple. Well, it's a trisomy of chromosome number 21. Trisomy, chromosome number 21 couples meaning non-destruction of chromosomes. 95% cases are due to this reason. 5% now we will talk about autosomal transformation. 4% of the cases of Down syndrome are due to autosomal transformation. 1% is something very difficult to understand. Mosaicism. I don't know how you pronunciate it, but I pronunciate it right. Mosaicism. Now, what is mosaicism? Like some of the cells, some of your body is having 5 cells. Some of the cells will be having normal number of chromosomes of the 21st part, but others will be having 3 copies. So this is mosaicism. Okay, this is only 1%, very rare. But now what are the features? A cute looking baby comes. The professor asks, what are the features? What are the features that we visualize in this baby? Anybody? Sorry. Yeah? अच्छा ना upturned eye, okay, anything else? Very good.
Ranjan.
Short neck, okay, here the neck is not visible, but okay, I can take it. Short neck, anything else? Slanting palpebral feature, anything else? About the forehead, anybody? About the forehead of the baby is a bit broad. Anything else about the root of the nose?
This light.
Missing? They are not missing, it is flat. It is not absent, it is present. And we have got a condition called as hypertelorism. This is that the distance between the 2 eyes, the inner wall of the 2 eyes is wider as compared to the normal babies.
धरित ये मुझे दे दो अरे धरित
Why the tongue is cute? Anybody? Is the tongue large? Or the mouth is
stable associated
no. The mandible is small. The tongue is of normal size. That's why it is toothed. Okay. Some other important features. Low set ears. What do you understand by this? I have Margarita for most of part of my education. Low set ears. Like the above that you are visualizing is not normal. You can visualize. So these are low set ears. Simian trees. This is something that in PG entrance or in entrance examination is being asked. Simian breezes, like in your hand, your palm, you are going to visualize three dark lines. I have only one kid. I yesterday saw in his farm that he also has three. Okay, but these babies, they have only a single transverse crease. Okay, they have only a single transverse crease that is called as simian crease, and the gap between the first two toes of the foot, it is abnormally wide. So these are the few starting features that we can visualize in these babies. Fine. Now comes the next question. If you have answered these and you are not going to the second question is, what are the risk factors of Down syndrome? Anybody, what are the risk factors? Okay, there is only one risk factor. I am putting a question out there from the quiz. Okay, this is a leak of the question. So, advanced maternal age with a pregnant female with the first born is of 2 hours. For mother is more than 35 years of age, the chances are low for Down syndrome. Remember, the chances are not that the baby will have it. Only it is a risk factor. Okay, the other factors that we learn is not yet established that yeah, it is for Down syndrome. It can cause other genetic disorders, but not Down syndrome. Jumping on the third question. What are the complications of Down syndrome? Now, this is what we have to deal with. You also have to deal with in two parts. When the patient comes to OPD, now there is nothing to be prevented. He has to be treated or something has to be done to improve the lifestyle. So, what are the complications? The first complication is there is a delay in both physical growth as well as mental growth. The term is taken as mental retardation. IQ less than 70 is mental retardation. These babies they generally have IQ of less than 50. Okay, so they will be slow to learn anything. Even keeping cubes over one another will be delayed in them. A baby with Down syndrome will be doing that after 5 to 6 years of age, which a baby generally learns in the second year of his life. His or her. Okay. So there is delayed language development, social skills, like social smart generally develops by the age of 3 months in a normal baby, but it takes time for the baby with Down syndrome to develop that. And of course, the motor development, grasping anything, picking up anything, it takes time for them to learn about it. Second comes the systematic complications. Now, these are something which will cause the parents to worry more. What are they? First, we will learn about them one by one. The most common is congenital heart disease, that is atrial or ventricular septal defect. In 50% of the babies suffering from Down syndrome, you will get this defect. This is a defect which is communicating the two atria or the two ventricles. How can we see it? We have learned now about echo. Fetal echo is being done. With the help of that, we can learn about these congenital heart disease. Then the second most common is hearing loss. It is very common. Okay, hearing loss is commonly seen in these kids. Cataract, pneumonia, thyroid dysfunctions, and esophageal dysplasia are few of the complications which are commonly seen in Down syndrome. Now I said once the baby is with you, you cannot prevent it. Obviously, you have to treat something. These systematic complications are the one which can only be treated either by surgery or medicines. Okay. So jumping on to the fourth question, what should we do to improve the quality of life of these patients? The first and foremost thing, counseling to the family members of how to prevent physical complications. Physical complications, as I said, these babies learn things late. So hygiene, you have to make them learn about hygiene, hand hygiene, simple hand hygiene, prevent infections. Okay. Then encourage as much as physical activity as possible. This will create two things. First, develop the motor ability, and then they will have a sense of confidence among them if they are able to play with their peers. Third, seek regular checkups so that you can identify the things which you are not doing well. Fine. Then comes the professional, the role of professionals. What are these? Physical therapy for developing the motor skills, speech therapy, you are all involved in this to improve the language skill. Occupational therapy, this will help them to master independence so that they can do their work on their own and not depend upon others. So these are the things that we can do to improve the quality of life of these patients. Now the only single how to prevent Down syndrome. So as I said, if you have a kid in the OPD, Down syndrome, obviously we cannot prevent it. And we can do nothing to prevent the trisomy of chromosome number 21. So what we can do, what we are doing now, we are creating awareness. We can only create awareness regarding Down syndrome and ask the parents to take counseling, proper counseling from learned individuals of how to deal with the situation. For example, if a normal kid has a fever, the parents they get anxious about what to do. But an experienced family member tells them what to do, how to do, where to do, who to go to. But in the case of Down syndrome, this is something which is not present in every family, so the elders they don't know about it. So for that you have to take a counseling. You have to give counseling to the parents. Okay. Now counseling after this, there are tests for upcoming parents. These are called as screening tests, which we give to pregnant females in order to identify whether the baby is or the chances whether the baby is going to have a Down syndrome or not. Once the screening test becomes positive or becomes significant, we go to diagnostic tests. Screening tests, these are non-invasive generally, and diagnostic tests are invasive. Now, what do you mean by invasive and non-invasive? Invasive here means we are not poking the baby. We are taking the mother, we are taking blood sample from mother, or we are giving a general scan, ultrasonographic scan to baby. Invasive here means we are going to go inside the amniotic, inside the baby to take the amniotic fluid or a fluid with the sample. I will discuss one by one. So screening tests, when to do? When to do in the 9 months. So it has been divided into two parts, the first trimester and the second trimester. In the later half of the first trimester, we do something called as nuclear translucency scan. Now it is a scan, it is a simple ultrasonographic examination, which is being routinely given to any pregnant female. Okay, what do we see over here? So I don't know whether the people on the back will be able to visualize it or not, but this one is a normal baby. In the neck region we call it as local. In the neck region here we can see a normal contour which is present in the surface. Okay. On the second half, we can visualize over the neck there is some swelling. This is collection of fluid. Over in these babies having this chromosomal disorder. Okay, so this is one of the non-invasive scanning tests which will help you to identify. Now, this test doesn't tell you that the baby is suffering from Down syndrome. There are chances that they will suffer because it might happen that after a few days this swelling becomes disappears. Okay, so this is common. Then comes our non-invasive prenatal testing. Now, what do we do over here? Babies, from babies to mother, there is transfer of some DNA. Okay, now these DNAs they are not bound inside the cell; they are cell-free DNA. We collect them from the mother's blood and then examine it for the disorder, whatever genetic disorder we are looking for. Then comes triple test or Bart's test. In this again we take the blood from mother and test is a 3 positions: alpha fetoprotein, beta HCG or beta human cholinergic chlorobacterin, and third is histriol, unconjugated histriol. This is seen that pFI test is not only confined to Down syndrome. Other syndrome can also be used to diagnose with the help of these three compounds. Okay. In Down syndrome, what happens? Which one increases and which one decreases? AFP decreases, histriol decreases, and beta HCG increases. So this is the combination which is seen from the deviation from the normal value, which shows that the baby might suffer from Down syndrome. So in the first trimester or second trimester, we have done tests. If it becomes positive or if it becomes significant, then we go for diagnostic tests. Remember, diagnostic tests are invasive tests. We are going to enter inside the womb to disturb the baby. Okay? Again, it is done in 11 to 13 weeks and 16 to 18 weeks. Two different tests: amniocentesis and chorionic villus sample. We know about amniotic fluid. Everybody, amniotic fluid present inside the womb. Okay. Under ultrasonography, we produce a needle to take out a small amount of fluid to study its composition. Similarly, in chorionic villus sampling, if we are going transabdominally, we are going to use ultrasonography to take out the chorionic villus, or transvaginally also we go to take out the chorionic villus. These two are invasive tests. They can cause harm to the baby. So this is all the whats and the hows which were asked to me or to others who get to see a Down syndrome baby. So I expect that you all must have got something from this. Thank you.
Sarah is immediately for the
Sorry, I'm not getting the question. No, it's not. Ma'am, for example, obviously the first one, maybe nobody will be knowing that they will be getting a Down syndrome baby. But there is a high chance for the parents, if they are going to have a pregnancy again, there is a high chance that maybe the second baby may get Down syndrome. If the first is
it is not genetic.
this is the cause is basically non-disjunction of chromosomes. So one, if it is happened, it might happen again. So it is not that if a parent who is having the first born baby normal might not have second baby who is having Down syndrome. Okay, non-disjunction can occur anywhere. There is no risk factor for non-disjunction.
Before 20 years, I have seen a genetic lab in Canada. But they are doing something genetic engineering, genetic correction of the genes, hereditary genes. Okay. So for thalassemia, yes, hereditary genes. But is it any facility there?
Lisa, I cannot answer.
Sir, actually, there is a molecular lab, but it is not properly.
Long back in 2000, there was an article which showed that the trisomy of 21 has been corrected, but that article has not been followed with further research.
Okay. But AIIMS is very big. There is science and technology department is also funding for research. And there is also technical data is there. So we also funding this research. If Calcutta is doing something research in molecular, they have a very good molecular lab, and that time it was 1 crore rupees expense. So it's very costly affair, right? But AIIMS is very big. I request try this.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, all of us know that all India Institute of Medical Science is
Manas,
a national institute.
কথা হিসেবে
It's a
বন্ধ
mandate
করে দাও
to
কথা
solve
শুনে বন্ধ
the
করে দাও
expectations of
মাইক্রোফোন
the people, to correct the regional imbalance in case of healthcare delivery. So it was established in 2014. The clinical service started. So our first mandate was to provide all the basic medical services, and we have opened all 40 departments, including super specialists, and we have done all the services, even all like PET-CT, all sorts of cancer, everything. So our second decade mandate is like most of the AIIMS have not yet started. That's why AIIMS will start in case of students also. And second decade mandate we are into that, like starting the transplant service, giving the genetic service, so into that. That is we have started. And as a project, like AIIMS and some departments are giving the services. So that's why on the project basis, definitely. So very soon we will get that molecular service. I think in the year we will be able to. And at the same time, Government of India has also taken the initiative to start as Nidan Kendra and to start the service, extending the service to last national districts also. So I think within a year or maximum 2 years, we will do the genetic service in free. So that will be lost. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, sir, for a super engaging session. I hope now the students are ready to answer if any questions get thrown at you by your prof in attendance. Now we move on to our next presentation. So the next talk is by Dr. Sanjita Sahu, who is an associate professor in the Department of Anatomy at AIIMS Bhubaneswar. Ma'am will be talking to us about diagnostic approach towards genetic disorder. Over to you, ma'am.
Manas,
I am very much thankful for giving this opportunity
Manas,
to
हल्का डी
Professor Sajjan Mahabharata of this Institute of Health Sciences, as well as our Dr. Mark from Nisa Gaikwad from AIIMS Bhubaneswar. So this is the actually right platform to share all our thoughts and work, as well as to treat challenges facing for the genetic disorder. So this is the great occasion, Down syndrome day, World Down Syndrome Day. So here my talk will be on diagnostic approach towards genetic disorder. So I will simplify on the genetic disorder. What is the definition of genetic disorder? So can anybody say what is the definition? How will you tell? So genetic disorder is something like alteration of chromosome, either any missing extra chromosome or mutation in the gene level. And as well we know what are the type of genetic disorder. There is single gene disorder, chromosomal disorder, as well as multifactorial. So here in this genetic chromosomal genetic disorder, I will be focused on chromosomal disorder because now in AIIMS Bhubaneswar already started cytogenetic laboratory and we are doing test mainly cytogenetic like karyotype test. So first of all, we know the genetic order classification. like Dr. Chaman already described, like Dr. Robin says will be then we will go for the diagnostic approach of this genetic disorder. Then we think about the prenatal diagnosis. So what is the meaning of prenatal diagnosis? This means before and natal means birth. Because there is very limited scope of treatment of genetic disease, it is very important to diagnose genetic disease before birth, so that the parents can take a decision about the continuation or termination of pregnancy. That's why detection of the genetic abnormality before the birth is known as prenatal diagnosis. So, can you name what are the indications for this prenatal diagnosis? So, what is the advanced maternal age? We will think to do a test, prenatal test. After how many years? Like anybody? So after 35 years of maternal age, we will think, and also other indications are there. Previous childhood chromosomal abnormality, or family history of single gene disorder, and also other indications are there. How to do it? There are several methods through this which can be detected as karyotype of this. And what are the samples used for this diagnosis? We will use peripheral blood, amniocentesis, as well as coronary clear sampling. So, what is amniocentesis as described by Dr. Robina? We are collecting the amniotic fluid from the amniotic sac, like introducing a needle to the abdomen under the ultrasound guide. And then, at which age, gestational age, we do this test. That is between the 16 to 20 weeks of gestation. And then send it to the laboratory for X-rays carried. As well as another test also, coronary villi sampling. What is coronary villi? We are taking the coronary villi from the placenta. And how we will collect by introducing a catheter to the vagina into the uterus, collecting the sample and also sent to the laboratory for any chromosomal abnormality. So, in our psychological lab, what has been done, what are the cases still not diagnosed, I will be happy to share on these cases. Before that, how we will do the procedure for the karyotype, we will discuss. So, what we do in this karyotyping? We look into the chromosomes of the patient to provide an unbiased and complete analysis with evaluation of their genetic material for any abnormalities or any aberrations. So, what we'll do here, we'll collect about 2 ml of blood sample in a parenterized tube, and then that will be kept for 72 hours in a CO2 incubator with 37 degree for culture initiation. By adding the culture media, active media, then we will do the arresting metaphase by adding the consistent solution, that is a nitrotic inhibitor. And why we will arrest at the metaphase? Because this is the best time to see the chromosome in the cell during the metaphase. And the next step will be harvesting and casting, aging. And in casting, when we get the pellet, we'll drop from a hand on the slide so that the cell rupture and the chromosomes spread on the slide, we can see more clearly. After this, we'll do aging. Overnight in a hot plate, they fix the chromosome well on the slide. Then the slides will be stained by Jimsa, and in order to visualize the banding pattern of the chromosome, next step will be analysis. So how we will analyze the chromosomes. Chromosomes are arranged on the basis of 3 criteria, that is centromere position, chromosome size, and banding patterns. Then another method is also there for this cytomolecular technique. This is the FIS, fluorescent in situ hybridization. It is also a molecular cytogenetic technique that we will use fluorescent probes that is localize the specific DNA sequence on chromosome. And what is these probes are single strand of DNA or RNA. There are two types of phase. One is the solid phase, another one is the liquid phase. So what we will do is, after preliminary stage is the karyotype. So in the karyotype where we cannot see the more structural level, so it will detect the nitroglycerin level, and it is also time consuming. We can give report within 2 days in this case procedure, but it is cost effective. Karyotype it will take like 7 to 10 days for analyze your report. So here we are using the fluorescent probes in our laboratory. We are using the happy 18 and 21 trisomy probes for piece as well as 6 chromosome probes. How we do it? We are doing like 2 steps, pre-hybridization and post-hybridization. First, we have to collect the samples, then send to the laboratory for culture, harvesting, and addition of probes. There are 2 steps: pre-hybridization, post-hybridization. Then we will add some tactic to give signals for different chromosomes, and after that we will analyze the image in a fluorescent microscope. So, in this analysis of this slide, every fluorescent probe has its own wavelength for excitement. So they are observed in different filters. What are the filters? There is red for textiles, red for red signal, blue signals, and green signals. And for this case, we give report at least 200 cells must to be analyzed. So these are some images of X and Y chromosome, and over is the like item 18, 3 signals, red signals. Then we will move on to our laboratory, what we have already found, and what cases are already diagnosed from our laboratory, cytogenetic laboratory of Bhubaneswar. So till now we have received 290 cases, out of which 273 cases were reported. Trisomy 21, 17 number of cases. Trisomy 18, 2 number. Translocations and deletions, 3 number of cases. DST, that is the disorder of sexual development, 70 number of cases. Recurrent pregnancy loss, that is 37 number of cases. So, I'm going to share how the patients are coming to our lab for their diagnosis, analysis of chromosome, and how we are receiving the sample. Actually, we have already started genetic counseling with perinatal clinic in Bhubaneswar. So, we are getting the samples from their clinical department and we are doing here the chromosomal analysis, the karyotype. So here in the Down syndrome, in this case, a male baby of 2.4 years was referred from the pediatric department with platinum moles face and the dysmorphic features. Everybody knows about the features of the Down syndrome. So what we got, total 22 metaphases were stored and all of them were found to have 47, that is trisomy 21. So the RMR is given. Trisomy 21, the extra number of copy at the 21 chromosome. So this is diagnosed as Down syndrome. Then another baby came to our department, that is referred from neonatology, with 2 hours of light video respiratory distress. On examination, she had dysmorphism in form of right terminal bowing, bilateral discarding both ears, bilateral overlapping of fingers along with intra-atrial growth retardation. So we did the phenotype analysis and showed the trisomy 18. So extra number of copies are the 18 chromosomes. So this is the case diagnosed as Edwards syndrome. Trisomy 18, that is it is a diagnosed case of Edwards syndrome. Then another case, what we have seen, that is 17-year-old female with primary amenorrhea, followed by drugs for induction of menstrual cycle. Patient was having soft stature, ultrasound finding had shown straight ovary, polydactyly in the foot and uterus vaginus. So we found total 30 metaphase were studied and all of them were found to have 45 exons. So in this diagram, you just see there is one X chromosome replacement. So this is the 45 exo and this is diagnosed as Turner syndrome. Here another case, there is Klinefelter syndrome. A 64 years old tall man referred from neurology department to us, having no child, history of asymmetrical onset tremor since 25 years with gynecologist. And in this case, we got just see where is the extra X chromosome? Can you tell? So what is the numerical for this Klinefelter syndrome? Anybody say what is? How many number of extra chromosomes for Klinefelter syndrome? Extra? So what is the genotype for Klinefelter syndrome? 47 XS1. So this case is diagnosed as Klinefelter syndrome. Okay, this is the case of molasses. 4-year-old male child visited to the neurosurgery department at AIIMS Bhubaneswar with complaint of breathing and mostly closed mouth, nasal irritation. On random facial examination, there is a hypothalamus that is white space between eyes. And white space nostril, there is left palate, left nose, huge nose, and high aspect. So we got here mosaicism, that means XYY, XY. So what is the meaning of mosaicism? There is where two different genetic number of cells present during the time of disjunction of gametogenesis. During development of zygote, there is increase the mitosis and abnormal number of chromosomes are dividing throughout the life. And this is the case of mosaicism. So that we have also diagnosed and found this rare disease mosaicism. Then another translocation Down syndrome here. 2.8 kg baby referred from neonatology department. On examination, patient having left and palate, sandy gap, history of congenital hypothyroidism as per stereotyping. So just see here in this diagram, this is the Down syndrome. That means there is extra copy under 21. So the extra copy of 21 number of chromosomes that is translocated to the 15 number of chromosomes. So this is the translocation of 15 with 21 number of chromosomes, and this is a special case translocation Down syndrome that we have done. And another case is ring chromosome. Also, it is referred from neonatology. And here karyotyping showed ring chromosome. You see the aroma, then after 21 number of chromosome, there is broken and stick together and forming the ring-like structure. That is the ring chromosome, what we have got at the 21 number. So 2 to 3 metaphases are we have seen in some metaphases there where deletion of Q1 in the chromosome 21 as a result. The result was inconclusive. That's why we wanted to do whole genome sequencing to clear the diagnostic dilemma. So we collected aspirin blood from the parent and sent to the AIIMS Institute Bhubaneswar, sent the blood for whole genome sequencing. Another case is gender dysphoria that or be knowing about is transgenders. That is male phenotype, but inside there is female genital organ. So, a 27-year-old person present to the neurology department at institution. On examination, phenotypical hepatitis with undescended humans. Secondary sexual characters are well known. But MRI, there is congenital tachycardia, congenital abdominal tachycardia, the clinical case. But here, female internal genital organ with uterus-like structures were not identified as ovaries. There is also vagus and external genitalia suggestive of female cytohepatitis. So, karyotype was done in a cytogenetic laboratory and it was found to have 46 X's. So it is a well-person phenotype, but we got scan 46 X's in 20 metaplasmid, and that was also confirmed by his Bhubaneswar Institute. So this is about our what we have done in our laboratory. I was very happy to share all these cases. Thank you very much.
Questions from the audience? Thank you, ma'am, for providing excellent clinically relevant input and also providing us a very quick snapshot of all the cases that you see at AIIMS and how the diagnosis and testing is done. Thank you so much. Now we'll move on to our next talk. Sorry, we don't have a talk now, but we have a quiz. So I will be calling over Dr. Shukriya, who will be organizing the quiz for all of us.
Very good evening. Degree Assistant Institute on the dais, and faculties of languages and introduction, and my dear participants. Yes, this is a critical session of today's event. Material questions, answers are also leaked, so I think it will be very easier for you. And we have 2 rounds. In those 2 rounds, we have total. In total, we have 15 questions. So for each question, you will be given 15 to 20 seconds to answer. Timer will be there over the screen. It will be running. And the participants who are answering, please kindly stand and answer. And you will be given a reward if you are answering correctly.
Ranjan.
It's a free round. Both rounds are free round. Anyone can answer, except the faculties. Shall we start? And I'm having that reward. You can just come forward and you have answered correct. Ready? So first round will be a direct check. You will have the question, no clues or options. Like for some questions you may have options. You have to go to the answer directly. Ready? Question number 1.
रंजन को पछाड़ देबो तो ତମେ ଦୌଡ଼ ତା କହୁନ ଦେବ ସେଠି ଧରି ବଇଛ ତାକୁ କହୁନ ଦେବ ଲୋକ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କିଛି ନାହିଁ ମାଇକ୍ ଦିଅ
I think I can count. 20 seconds.
22
ରଞ୍ଜନ
Yes, exactly.
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ମାଇକ୍ ଆମେ ଦିଅ ପଛରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଭିତରେ ମାଇକ୍ ଅଛି ବାବୁ ଗୋଟେ ମାଇକ୍ ଅଛି ପଛ ଗୋଟେ ଦିଅ
It will be very easy, Ravi. Everyone can attempt. Next question. Trisomy refers to. First one, 20. Stand up and answer manually. Next trick. Yes, here we go. Third question.
1 minute, Shreya. When they come forward, they should say their name and which institute they are from.
No problem. We are answering. We can do that. So, shall we move to the next question? Be ready. Be alert. X chromosome belongs to the group. Ten, 9, 8. Stand up and answer kindly. Mentorship. Let's check the answer. Any other answers? Okay. We have many questions. Now you move to the next question. Be ready. No counting. Those who are answering, I will stand. In which stage of meiosis the cells are arrested during cell division while carried? Stand and answer. Let's check. Yes. Okay, last one, just you can also do now. Next question. This is the mind breaking the brain. Like sky is the limit. So Down syndrome persons, those who are with Down syndrome can also achieve. These are two persons. Can anyone recognize them? Let's see. So they are Ms. Unnati Surana, 16 years, and Sharon, 21 years, from Ahmedabad, was regarded as Miss India and Miss India Down syndrome 2022 in the first season for their competition. So it's not that it's a disability, it's a specialty. And here comes the next round, round 2. This is not directly you have to say the answer. See the picture and say the answer. So some of the pictures may have the direct answers also. Some of the questions you have to connect and think and answer. Ready? Who is here?
Gregor Mendel.
Yes. Right now comes the questions. Pioneer of science and genetics. Moving to the next question. Purine bases are. Any bases. Get on from the back. Add any other. Get on from the back. Very easy, just like that. Yes.
Adelaide, side is
Purine bases are two in number. You are half I think we can give equal chances. This side can answer more. Very easy questions are behind. So you are half correct. We'll go with the answer instead. Half chocolate. We'll do one chocolate. You have extra. Yes, I think we can give thanks to them. Sign chromosomal aberrations. Just we have seen many things over the session previously. Come up with either of the answers. Just give a try. It has a special name before that. I'm giving a clue.
Robustonian tax.
Yes. I think the questions are more clear. Okay. The picture depicts karyotype of either of the two. Either of the two. I have given the clue also. Come up with the answer. Yes, right. Yes, right. Okay, it's a normal. It's a normal word.
It's a male. It's X and a Y chromosome in 23.
How do you say X and Y?
The short one is Y and the long one is X.
So Y belongs to 1%, right? That's why it's small. So it's a kind of going towards the next question. Very easy. Just now the session we ended. Yes. Perfect.
Ambient sentences. 60 to 20 minutes.
Okay, the competition is more. Going towards the next question. Find out the procedure. It has a term. Connect the two pictures and answer.
Genetic counseling.
Let's check. These first benches are always the first benches. They are very hard game to answer. We'll move towards the next question. What are the risk factors for Down syndrome? Just picture
Advancement of maternal age 35 years, more than 35 years.
It's not that one person having all the outlets. Yes. Above 35 years. Female. Increase maternal age more than or equal to 30 years. It's not that you will not be able to calculate even though if your hands right. You can do that. I am showing a striking picture. Which future is it? Leave the question here. See the answer. Please stand up and answer. Translation. Let's say. Final product is protein. Protein synthesis instability. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. We will sign it out. We will sign it out. We will move towards the next question. Connect the pictures and find the out. Imagine the place.
आराम से
What is it? Moving towards the next question. Last question. Last question of the session. I own a technique in diagnosing the diseases. Sorry. You all participated. Very nice. Thank you for giving me the time.
So now everybody is awake and active, I think. Honorable Director of AIIMS Education, Dr. Satyamata sir, Dr. Manisha Kaiwal, our beloved HOD madam, all our esteemed faculty members and my dear students. Namaskar and very good afternoon to all of you. So I can say almost it's evening now, but still. So we will run very, very fast to this topic, that is molecular genetic tests. So the topic is serious, so we will keep it a bit light and fun. So this is the warning that I want to give you. The topic will be accompanied by certain cartoons, and these are to be taken with a large dose of food. Okay, the cartoons are funny, but the topic is serious. So what is the points of discussion? So we will study what is genetic testing very briefly and what are the type of tests that we can run. What are the indications for those genetic tests? We will be focusing basically on molecular tests. So what are the different types of molecular genetic testing or genome sequencing that is available? A short history of sequencing. And then what steps to be taken once we have a positive diagnosis. And difference in DNA sequencing, and finally a very short take-home message. So let's begin this journey and let's keep it fun and keep it light, even if the topic is very serious. So first we will define or we will know what is a genetic test. So any test in the simplest form, it means that any test that identifies any defect in the chromosomal level, at the genetic gene level or genome level, or even at the level of protein. It will give us an idea of a genetic disorder. So that is a genetic test. So it will help us either diagnose a condition which is already present, or it will help us understand that we have a risk of developing this condition, or whether we have a chance of passing it on to our offspring. So we can do so many things from this test. And my thing, that's the most standard thing that we have to bear in mind, that there is no single genetic test that can identify all the genetic conditions. So depending upon, it's a good judgment, like so depending upon the condition, the genetic disorder that is suspect, we have to run the test. So the test of choice will vary according to our diagnosis. So again, we have to be the clinical detectives to know the condition. So the genetic test that we select ultimately depends upon our history skill. So that is why our clinical acumen, our observation, our talking and understanding the patient is so important. We have to take a detailed history of not only the patient but also of their family, because there is obviously a hereditary condition in it. So whenever a patient comes for genetic disorder, we can run 3 types of tests. We can run cytogenetic tests that has already been tested with by Dr. Sanjita. Biochemical tests which are not within the purview of this discussion. We are discussing only genetic tests. And then I will stick to my topic, that's the molecular genetic tests. So now we come to the topic, what are molecular genetic tests? So any test that determines the linear sequence, the exact order in which the nucleotides are present within the entire genome of the individual or maybe a segment of a DNA are called the molecular genetic test. The lab technique for this is DNA sequencing. So the aim of this is to find any genetic variations and whether it is a pathogenic variation, that is whether it is a disease causing variation. Because there are also variations which may not be pathogenic. Okay, so and there may be some about which we do not know at this point that they are be pathogenic, but later on research will show that they are associated with disease condition. So we require very small amount of sample tissue, and any tissue of the body can be, the DNA can be extracted and sequenced. So it will provide us not only with diagnosis, but we can develop a clinical plan, and in future hopefully we can also have targeted gene-specific therapies for disorders. So we know this is the difficulty we have, this is the therapy to be given. So now we will go to a very small, interesting case scenario. So all of you know Angelina Jolie, isn't it? So those who don't know, can you find out that she's a very pretty lady? So in late 2013, in a New York Times opinion piece, Angelina Jolie revealed that she had undergone double mastectomy and a preventive one. She had no chances at that point. But DNA sequencing of her showed that she knows that she has a family history, a mother, a grandmother, all had ovarian or breast cancer. And when she sequenced her DNA, she saw that she was carrying a very rare BRCA1 gene mutation, which increases lifetime risk of having ovarian and breast cancer. So she underwent a double mastectomy to prevent in future having a disease. Now, this sets up the stage for us to decide what are the indications for undergoing a DNA sequencing test or a molecular genetic test. So, what Angelina did is called a pre-symptomatic or predictive genetic test, where we do not have the disease at this point, but we have a positive family history, so you have an increased risk of having generated or inherited that particular mutation. So even before you develop the disease, you go for the test. So that now you are empowered to take steps, maybe treatment surgery, maybe some lifestyle modification to prevent or at least to delay the onset of the condition. So now you have next on diagnostic test. So these are most commonly done where you already have the condition. So you are just getting a diagnosis. You have already developed the symptoms. Then a person having cancer, the treatment of cancer can also be determined according to the DNA sequence of the tumor. So we can have better treatment plans. So we can open DNA tumor sequence editor. Then prenatal testing. That is whether current pregnancy or whether any other future pregnancy are at risk of having an inherited condition. So we can go for both invasive, as we have discussed, as well as for non-invasive prenatal diagnosis technique. Then also in case of infertility, in case of multiple miscarriages, in case of stillbirth, people can get this DNA sequencing done. Finally, in case of women who are going for assisted reproductive technique, so what happens is that in those cases, you have to choose. So it's a very difficult and emotionally and financially draining procedure. So we can select the best embryo out of the few that have been developed. So which one should be implanted? So we can run a re-implantation genetic testing to ensure that the best possible outcome is. So a brief history. Now it all began with this man whose photo I put below, Frederick Salmon. So Salmon in 1977 developed the first generation of DNA sequencers, and that process of sequencing is called the Sanger sequencing or the gene termination sequencing, for which he won the Nobel Prize. Then nearly 20 years later, in 1996, the next generation of sequencing started. That's called the second generation of sequencing, and the second generation sequencers are called the next generation sequencing or ATS platforms came into being. These are the torrent platforms. Then finally, again nearly 20 years later, in 2010, we have the third generation sequencers like we have the Oxford Nano sequencers, and these sequencers, the second and third generation sequencers can do very rapid sequencing. Whereas the Sanger sequencer to sequence only a single DNA segment at a time, these can sequence millions of segments at one time. So now we know that there are basically two types of sequences that we are using, Sanger's and next generation. Depending upon what part of the genome we are sequencing, we can have the whole exome sequencing, where we are sequencing only the protein coding exomes. We can have clinical exome sequencing, where we have certain genes that we target, and we have a gene bank and only those disease-associated genes we are testing for, whether there is any variation. And then we can go for a whole genome sequencing where the entire DNA material of an individual, whether it is a coding part, whether it is a non-coding regulatory portion, everything is sequenced. We have got a very high volume of data that we hopefully can use later on, because at this point we do not have that much technology to analyze that much information. So what is the criteria? We come to the crux of the matter. How do we select which is the best test to run for our patient? So if we have, so again here, we have to be very specific in our history taking, in our physical examination of the patient, so that as well as the medical history, so that we have clues. We have a working idea that okay, my patient is likely to suffer from this or this condition. Now when we have an idea, working idea, we can decide okay, I will run this particular test for that. So if we are thinking of a single gene variation, where the defect is in a single gene, or it is a single nucleotide polymorphism, which means that there is a quantum mutation resulting in change in a single nucleotide, so that protein coded for that gene is changed. Then we can go for Sanger sequencing, because with some segment sequences can be done, so we know which is our candidate gene. We are suspecting that at this point there will be the problem. So for that specific gene, we can run the Sanger sequence. So they now also do the gold standard test for SNPs or single nucleotide polymorphisms. One of the best examples in the context of Odisha is sickle cell anemia, where a single gene defect in the hemoglobin molecule brings about the gene RBC and results in such devastating condition. Next, we can have a gene bank. There is a clinical exome or targeted exome sequencing where there are multiple genes being associated with one or more conditions. So we are suspecting a particular condition or set of conditions like a person we have muscular dystrophy or a person is having epilepsy. So we may have some few hundred genes associated and we can have a panel of those genes tested together. So we can have gene panel testing. So we have different types of panels for this. Then whole exome sequencing where we are sequencing the entire protein coding portion of the DNA. This feature when we do not have a definite idea that what may be the underlying cause. For example, a child comes with autism or a child comes with intellectual disability. So the field is very much. It may be 100 of reasons and there may be more than 100 genes. So at that time, it's better that instead of going for sample field, it would be very expensive. Rather, the whole exome sequencing will give us the data that in the future also we may use. Then, whole genome sequencing at this point we are not prescribing because the data generated would be too much to handle, but at this point it is at research level. Then we have something called triplet repeat primed PCR, that is for triplet repeat disorders like fragile X syndrome, MLPA, what is known as the multiplex ligation, where probe amplification for microdeletion and microduplication, like the spinal muscular dystrophy. For SMFRG, we can do this. So what is the what is the algorithm that we have to follow whenever we get a patient with a genetic disorder? So whenever a child or parent comes with a genetic disorder, right? So the one first we will begin at the beginning.
24
very detailed personal history as well as family history. Once we have the history, the next step will be the physical examination of the patient. We will examine our patient for the features, clinical features, what are their features, and then finally we will go for the basic routine biochemical testing and radiological testing to support our diagnosis. Now, once we have a working diagnosis, it may be this or this. So we want to confirm. If we are suspecting that it is a simple gene disorder, like sickle cell anemia, so we know it may be the sickle cell anemia, then we will go for standard sequence, which will help us. We now have a single disease associated with a single gene. So it is A leads to B. So now we will run this test and we will confirm. If we are suspecting a triple repeat disorder, we can go for TPPCR. But if we are suspecting a condition that multiple genes are likely to be involved, in such a condition, it is better for us to prefer next generation sequencing where we can go for a gene panel test. And finally, if there are conditions where the patient has multiple vague features, overlapping features, or specific features, and we are not sure very much. We know that the system may be affected, but we are not sure exactly of what we should go for whole exome sequencing. Now, if Sanders fails, then we can next go to the gene panel test, and even if the gene panel we are not getting an answer, again we can go for both exome sequencing or even whole genome sequencing. So basically, in this stepwise manner, we should solve the detected condition and detect it. Now, what is the difference between Sanders sequencing and next generation sequencing? That is, sequencing volume, as I told you, Sanders can handle a smaller one segment of DNA will be sequenced at a time, but due to massive parallelization, NGS can sequence millions of DNA segments at a time. So, advantages of Sanders is that it is faster and cost effective when we have smaller number of samples. But when we have a large number of samples, better for going to the NGS lab. So again, advantage of Sanders is that it's simple workout. So is that we just less time consuming, turnaround time is very less, and also the sequencing errors are very less. Whereas the advantage of NGS is that we can even microscale it, the whole genome can be sequenced, and it is very highly sensitive. We get a lot of information and very detailed information. There is a disadvantage is that Sanders is less sensitive, whereas NGS is complex to work with. Now, the data interpretation with respect to Sanders is very straightforward. I'll show you in the next slide. But in case of NGS, There are very different algorithms are there. So we have to have bioinformatics solutions for this. So applications we already know. So I will skip to the next slide. That is the raw data. How is it different? As you can see, these handles appears as colored beads. Each one of the color is specific for a particular nucleotide. So from there we can read the nucleotide sequence. So we now do our sequence of papers. And whether it is normal or deviation. But in fact, you see, it's not possible for us to read the amount of detail as a religious amount of detail that is present. So we will obviously need some amount of computational support and bioinformatics support. Now you have a positive diagnosis. So what should we do? So we have to give counseling. Genetic counseling has to be given not only to the patient but to the family members because it's a life-altering condition. Okay, the entire life is changing. Then if there is a pathogenic variant, we have to decide the treatment plan, a follow-up, we have to decide lifestyle modification. All these things has to be communicated and practiced. And then finally, if it is a genetic condition, obviously those family members are at increased risk of developing the condition in future. So we have to inform them and it may be advisable for them to get themselves tested. Again, this jolly comes. Okay. So what are the future trends? Personalized medicine. Okay, my genes, my treatment, my therapy, my medicine. Okay, we are going there. It may take another 50, 60 years, but we will be there. So you can go and tell, this is my genome, give me medicine for it. Okay, we are getting it. Again, better bioinformatics. This is the recent trend because without technological support, the next generation of advancement in biotechnology cannot happen. So it's called biotechnology for a reason. Okay, then whole genome sequencing will come into play. Again, you have your entire genome. So it is like a genome. Okay, you have your entire detail about yourself and your future children may need some part of it because obviously the partner will contribute. But you have some information. Now, the next thing is the genome-wide association studies that are being done, where the genome of multiple individuals in the population are being studied together, so that we will come up with genetic biomarkers of important diseases like diabetes, like Parkinsonism, like heart disease, epilepsy, autism, etc. So that now we know that some biomarkers, we can run those tests and find the blood vary from some other easily accessible So what is our take-home message? That control has to be individualized. Okay. So we are getting there to the personalized section. Okay. So the based on patient's history as well as his family history, we will decide what is to be done. Next, the most important point that is no single genetic test will answer all the questions. There is no single prediction. Okay. Finally, genetic counseling service is always mandatory, not only before going for the test, but more important, after the diagnosis, because that is where the patient and his family needs the maximum support. So, with this, these are my references. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you for the insightful and very informative talk. Now moving on to a more interactive dialogue session. So I'd like to invite Dr. Crazy, Assistant Professor in the Department of Anatomy, AIIMS Bhubaneswar, and Dr. Radhika, Senior Resident, Department of Psychiatry, AIIMS Bhubaneswar.
Mike. Manas, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଭିତରୁ ଆଣିଥାଉ।
Good afternoon, Bhubaneswar. It was very nice to come over here and to give talks. And I understand this is the last talk from AIIMS Bhubaneswar. So bear with us. It will be just like a dialogue between two doctors. Okay. So I am Dr. Tracy and this is Dr. Radhika from Psychiatry. Yeah. So this slide is from our perinatal clinic. So one afternoon in our perinatal clinic, Dr. Radhika, we had one patient with previous history of Down syndrome. That is, in their family, they had a baby with Down syndrome. So this couple was really very anxious. They were really worried about what their pregnancy outcome would be. And they were very unsure of what the news would bring them to and what they are up to. So Mrs. X, she had been talking to her grandma, who said there is a family history of Down syndrome, and Mr. X always wanted the best choices for his family. So the concerns of the couple were what would be the outcome of their pregnancy, what would their child be, and what are the genetic tests that have to be done. So the answers to these questions brings us to genetic counseling. Okay, so we have been hearing this term genetic counseling throughout the session. So can you please tell us something about what exactly is genetic counseling? So genetic counseling is a communication process in which we give information about the hereditary condition. And it is a process of helping people understand and adapt to medical, psychological, and clinical implications of the genetic testing. So, there are different models, isn't it, Radhika? Can you tell us about the different models of genetic counseling? So, there are basically three models of genetic counseling. Okay. One is the medical or preventive model, one is the decision-making model, and one is the psychotherapeutic model. So the first model, the medical or preventive model, it basically treats the genetic disease. While the decision-making model, we encourage the client to take their own decisions. However, genetic counseling actually goes beyond these two. And it is accommodated in the psychotherapeutic model, where we do not only prevent the disease or encourage the client, but we take a number of factors into consideration, including the client's family dynamics, their financial and social conditions, their personality, their coping skills. Everything we take it and we move forward with the process. Now, can you please tell us when will we do the genetic counseling? Like, what are the indications for the process? Yes. So, as the previous speakers all have told about the indications of the genetic test, so indications of genetic counseling will be advanced maternal age. So, when there is an advanced maternal age, there is a high risk of aneuploidy which can happen that can cause Down syndrome. For example, Down syndrome. So, high advanced maternal age or advanced maternal age as well is a indication of genetic counseling. Next, when there is a history of previous child with a birth defect or genetic disorder, then we go into genetic counseling. When there is a history of consanguinity, when there is a family history of genetic disorder, then we go for genetic counseling. The fourth indication is ultrasonography showing a soft tissue marker where the baby has a congenital anomaly. Then we go for genetic counseling. Can you tell about the processes involved in genetic counseling? Yes. So for genetic counseling, we have to go through a series of sequential steps. So it consists of the first step, which is the information gathering. Then we do the risk assessment. After that is the information giving, followed by a psychological assessment. After that, we have the decision making, and after that, obviously, the follow-up. So coming to the first step, which is the information gathering. So when a client comes to us, it is very important to first evaluate why the client has come. What is the basis of the referral purpose? After that, it is very important to have an informed consent from the client and his family to avoid medical legal issues in the future.
After that, it is very essential to assess the client's needs and expectations, and only then can you address their needs. Also, at the onset only, it is very important, like every speaker was telling about the family history, so we need to take a very detailed and accurate family history and make a pedigree chart also, which will help us further in the process. Ma'am, now can you please tell us about the second step, which is the risk assessment step.
So, after drawing the pedigree gives a large amount of information regarding whether the family has a genetic disorder or not. So, we can assess the risk of recurrence. So, as ma'am was asking previously, if Down syndrome can be inherited, the answer is yes. If there is a Robertsonian translocation, if the parents are Robertsonian translocation carriers, then there is a 100% chance of the next baby being affected with Down syndrome. Yeah. So then, if it is also a dominant disorder like Marfan syndrome, then there is a 50% chance of every subsequent pregnancy, every subsequent fetus being affected. And if it is also a recessive disorder, then there is a 25% chance of recurrence in the family. And in case of X-linked recessive disorders, female act as carriers and pass on the disease to 50% of their male offspring. Okay. Now we come on to the next step, that is the information giving. Can you tell about information giving? Yes.
So, information giving is actually one of the most difficult steps of genetic counseling because we had our 2 hours of session today, so a lot of information was being given to you. But even if you are paying 100% attention, you don't recall 100% of it, right? So, same comes to the genetic counseling session where study found out that only 20% of the information which was actually given to them was recollected by them. So, it is important to first understand that what the client's capacity is to understand the information. Secondly, we can use some illustrations, some diagrams, some pie charts to make the client understand better. Also, it should be kept in mind that the genetic lessons are not overshadowing the counseling sessions because those are equally important. And finally, at the end of the session, we can give a letter to the client summarizing the entire session, which the client can refer back to in the future. Coming to the next step, which is the psychological assessment and counseling. So as we were seeing in the case, Mrs. X had a lot of concerns and a lot of worries, and obviously the couple is going through a lot of stress in their life. So it is quite justified if they have some mental issues also. So we need to screen them. It's very important. So client psychological state is very important as it will decide how much information is actually processed by them, both cognitively and emotionally as well. For the session to be effective, the counselor must understand the common emotional reactions which the client will have after we are dealing with the genetic information. Apart from that, we also need to understand what the client's capacity is to grasp the complex information which we are giving. Also, it is very important, and here the mental health professionals coming to play. We need to assess if there is any depressive symptoms or any suicidal ideations or any anxiety symptoms when the client is taking so much information. So, ma'am, for the next step, as we talk about the decision making. Can you please tell us about that?
Yes, Radhika. Decision making is the most difficult steps where we help the families to take a proper decision without we being involved directly in it. So it is usually non-directive, and it is one of the most difficult concerns for the family as well. So they take it to all these factors: the religious factor, the social factor, the cultural factor, the agreement between the spouse and the wife. Yeah. So all this has to be taken into account while decision making is taken. Can you tell about the follow-up, Radhika?
The next session, what we can do is we can kind of revise the previous session, like what all information is being collected by them. Also, we can address the new questions that clients are having, and we can go on through the process. And so, follow-up, that interval can be decided.
So, genetic counseling usually involves a team, and managing a genetic disease usually is a team. So, it involves a geneticist, a lab geneticist, a cytogeneticist, and as well as therapists like you. So, geneticists, genetic counselors,
has formed the main team who will manage the genetic disorders. So, to summarize, we have seen what is genetic counseling, what are the indications, what are the processes, and finally, you are the ones who are going to take this up to the next level. Thank you so much.
Any questions from the audience?
Yes, ma'am. We have a prenatal clinic, perinatal clinic happening on every Tuesdays from 2 to 5 p.m. So the perinatal clinic has been functional for the past 2 years. It is not under any department. We have a collaboration with the perinatal clinic. That is departments, doctors from different departments, from OBG, from obstetrics and pediatrics. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you both for highlighting the importance of counseling and also highlighting that we need a multidisciplinary approach when we go ahead with genetic counseling. Now, we have heard quite a lot about how to do testing, how do we assess and find out what the problem is, and how we counsel our clients or individuals with genetic disorders or individuals with Down syndrome. Now we'll move on a little bit to the therapeutic part. So we now have a talk on multimodal therapy available for children with Down syndrome. And I would like to invite Professor Satya Mahapatra, Confident Director, Autonomous Institute for Health Sciences, to come up with that and share his expertise and knowledge in this area. Over to you, sir.
There has been so wonderful presentations that now I have a complex. It has been quite informative, and I just trying to be the obedient student, trying to cope with the information. Thank you so much for all that presentations, and I don't think a couple of hours was giving justice to all the information you have, great presentations you had. When we have to sum it up, it is just a simple summing up. I'm not having a presentation. So there will be comparison. But what I am going to tell you is the organic journey. Why is multimodal? We had learned it should be a team approach, and all that British guidance we had. As we become educated, we tend to be the center of our activity, not the patient. So, me and myself, if I am qualified as a particular domain specific expertise, whatever I have, I tend to deliver that service and give my hands on. Patients come me also. Because I am a qualified speech therapist. I said, okay, this problem, how to provide speech therapy. We have enough number of staff, somebody will provide the therapy. But then the child may have developed some difficulties a little bit because of the speech therapy, but had many other issues. that remained unattended. Then they came for follow-up
लाइट लोगो लाइटर सो लोगो कोई तो लाइट लोगो
physiotherapy as well.
सब तो लाइट
Okay. What about the learning, reading vacancy? Oh, that has to be done.
नो लाइट स्वीरा मन वन लाइन पर
Has a need for a physiotherapist, the occupational therapist, the speech therapist, the psychotherapist, the special educator. So many different professionals have to intervene, and the parents are actually clueless where they have to go, whom they should consult, and how there should be they can have a seamless continuity in the delivery of the service. So when we stumble repeatedly, and we can blame the parents for their ignorance, they are helpless. They are not aware that what all need to be done. When we look upon ourselves in our naivety or innocence, we said, okay, we will do it. It was a terrible response. People have great unrealistic expectation. When we say that, okay, you don't do it, will they kind of expected everything will be sorted out. Oh, so the Down syndrome should be cured. Bringing a realistic expectation and doing all that can be done. The intensive multimodal therapy was also again we were stumbling on the biology. If you have so many professionals, qualified people, and they have to be paid for, and then they have to provide service on a regular basis, on a daily basis, it becomes very difficult. Either the parents have to pay a huge amount as a therapy charge. We have to is labor intensive. One person comes, maybe half an hour, maybe 1 hour. Intensive therapy is provided, then another person comes. Then third person comes. So in a day, about 5 to 10 professionals dealing with one child is like a patient-centered approach. Patient is remaining, one after another professional comes, deliver the service, and
ठीक थी लाइट
actually we are witnessing a miraculous functional independence. The child became kind of okay, I can take care of myself. The activities of daily living. The child became independent, started speaking, started reading, writing, and look forward here. We are not
এই সাইজটা ঠিক আছে এটা ঠিক আছে কিন্তু উপর
have been experimenting what all we can do. One of the experiments was also social integration, where normal children who are otherwise deprived, people from the laborers, daily wage earners, who leave their young kids along with their pet dogs and chicken. We pick them up, send them to vehicles. They were provided with food, clothing, and
ସେ କଣ କରିଥିବ ଏପଟ
integrated school. So only 8 to 10 normal children were socially
ହଲି ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ
disadvantaged, were integrated with 2 special children who had either autism or intellectual disability or Down syndrome. We found the Bhubaneswar speech therapy. The normal children felt too good about themselves. Oh, I am able to make this child dance, make this child sing, make this child play. And the special children, they felt happy for the first step that they had some friend with whom they can play, dance, sing. That experiment actually was so thrilling for us. We were kind of showcasing this. During a NAC accreditation meeting, that was picked up as a unique formula, and the national institutes they wanted to replicate the social integration. Many traditional things also we try to blend them or modify them in such a way that instead of traditional yoga, we said postural therapy or play as movement therapy. And the dance, the singing, the music, all those were also modified to have therapeutic effect. So we have been experimenting to shape this so-called multimodal therapy, and yes, even they have autoimmune issues, and they react when antibiotics are administered. So we have to go for the alternative, that is the herbal remedies. Bringing such things together has been an ongoing process. We have not arrived at a conclusive protocol that this should be the final protocol that should be followed. When we find children, everybody is so different, everybody's needs are so different, the comorbidities are so varying. So this is a very challenging experiment, and we have taken up ourselves, which is a very difficult task. I don't know what will be the consequences of the future of this. But because of this intensive and multimodal therapy, I can say dozens of children with autism have been discharged with age-appropriate functional skills in all the domains without any features of autism. They are free from, or we can we say they drop the diagnosis of autism. And many children with learning disabilities, they have been free from their features and challenges. They have gone to normal school as a normal child. I will say such things for more extreme things like cerebral palsy. Although they develop, but I will say they become free from all the features. Or I will say that for Down syndrome, where genetic defect, but then it's not freeing the features of Down syndrome, but functional independence is something we are looking at through intensive multimodal therapy. So, well, the journey is going on. This institute, after 25 years of its existence, having got the status of autonomous, we are actually breaking the stereotypes. The theme for Down syndrome in 24 is like end the stereotype. Yes, we are breaking free from the stereotype obsession of professional centric approach to patient centric approach. Well, we should try to adjust to that person's need rather than Thank you very much.
Let's get
Is there any data at state level? Like, are they registered or is there any data?
regular.
Data is by the state.
By the state.
No, not exactly Down syndrome. The Department of Social Security and Empowerment of Persons with SSCPD, they started a survey, and the survey went haywire. Actually, they came up with some funny figures because they asked somebody to calculate that. How can that somebody collect such information? The right questions they are not able to ask. And tell you honestly, one simple incident we did. I'm a funny kind of teacher. Once I took a batch of my student to Sadhya. They had been told Satya sir is waiting in Sadhya. I was sitting under a tree, and these people came. I told them to go and do a survey of those huts or slum. Find out how many of them have speech problem or hearing impairment or some cognitive issues. They went around after about 1 hour, came back, said not a single case. Okay. I said, what did you ask? I said, and they said, come over there, and they said, no. I said, okay, come over to the room. Okay, I said, oh, I'm the only one who stopped around protecting. I said, you idiot, when you ask such stupid question, you can only end up with some stupid reply. Go tell them you come from institute that you are willing to help people if they have any such disorder, and if they know somebody, they can help you guide to that person, maybe in their family, neighbor. When they change the approach and their communication, then they say, sir, these many cases of hearing impairment, these many cases of MR, these many cases of stuttering, these many cases of. Okay, in the Satya University, this happened, real story. When in the survey or a census collection we see, the person who is collecting the data is hardly trained to ask the right question or collect the correct information. So whatever is happening in the statistics, the data in not just Odisha, in India, is not really reliable. That's a sorry state of affairs, but we have to admit this is how things are.
Menas.
Sir, actually, in these 22 types of disability, they have got office inspector and there are so many cases. Then the intermediate there are also, there are so many.
Out of you, see you.
When they are going to get the data,
So, friend, we are
all mental aspects that is followed. So the data collector is not yet as but still in the institutions when the patients are coming, if they will just provide the numbers of patients coming, then we will get some complete data.
at the government level, government or central government level, they have started the registry for rare features and also the registry for the bar ticket. These two steps they have initiated, I think. So, but for all things, I think they are not yet.
सुजो
Thank you, sir, for
हमसे चीन चैन पर को मोटर
giving
छोड़
us a very nice
Video
overview
mo kahit
of
pa
the
यदि पाका पे इधर चीन चाह को टिकट टिकट देखिए अब
developmental disorders. Hopefully, more and more clinicians will move ahead and take this approach in their clinical practice. Now we have come to the end of all the talks. So, but before we have our vote of thanks, information would like to give away a small memento to all the resourceful persons. I would now like to invite Professor Manisha Gaikwade and Professor Satyama Patel to please come on the stage and present the mementos to the resource persons.
स्टेज को पढ़ा पप्पू टिके पछो पड़ टिके पछो
Dr. Ravikant Narayan.
जल्दी से
Dr. Crazy Joy. Dr. Sangeeta Sahu. Dr. Sita Rao.
खाएगा तो ये तुम तक यार तुम सब खाई बार करियो ना ये को हम जल्दी थोड़ा इंग्लिश में तापर बोल छुआ
Professor Prabhas Bhavde.
Dr. Ramya also. So, Dr. Ramya,
स्टेज हो गया आपको इवेंट
so last but not least, I would like to call upon Dr. Bhubaneswar for the roll call.
छटा थोड़ी दो कोड़ी कोण छुची गिरी
Dear students, am I audible? You enjoyed? How much? Those. Raise your hand. How much? Most scared to measure. So clapping would tell how much you measured. The very first day only showed that morning showed the days. That day only showed that program is going to be something. So thank you very much, sir, for service they are rendering and the people the way they are contributing and the life they are sacrificed establishing such an institute. We are really grateful to get our students to visit your institution. So thank you very much, sir, for allowing for this program. And I also would like to thank my director, Mr. Dr. Ashutosh Biswas. So for the very first year of this program, we allowed to conduct it and formulated to do this schedule. He takes time to come here, otherwise he also always encourages some type of activity, interinstitutional activities. So I thank him. And our
Madam, Vivek sir from Vivek sir
and takes all the decision as well as see that everything is done on time. And so thank you, madam, for holding our hand and making it a very big success. And because also from this institute, ma'am who was there, and also Ramya ma'am, both of them are very supportive, and our research faculties are always constantly caused to make this success. So we sincerely thank madam for all your timely inputs as well as supports. Thank you very much, ma'am. And our resource faculties like those the perimeter training or like basic Sulika, Mahmoud, etc. and our new body and who joined talking and talking. All of them, I think for last 11 months, they are into this very success. So thank you all. And also I would thank yes. So also I like to thank our residents and those who have given their what shall I say, even the busy schedule of the exam also they have put their all the efforts. And also I would like to thank Radhika from Department of Psychiatry and had a wonderful session in dialogue with the counseling. That's it for our protecting. Thank you. thanks to all the residents and the students. So we have participated in this program run our company successful. And also at the same time, I thank to others like big size, big Dr. Bhubaneswar and principal sir also and sir was there eager waiting to welcome us. We had big delay, so and also other staffs and our hero public listeners assist with us also is here. And electronics media also came and participated and other staffs. We cannot forget anybody. Thank you all support staffs and cameramen all. I thank from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. Thank you.